Hello, this is Igoro, host of the Igoro Show, and you are listening to the Steve and Crypto Show. So keep your ears open and your mouth shut.
Hey, welcome to the Steve and Crypto Halloween. We were going to call it the special, but we're going with the Spooktacular. So welcome to the 2022 Halloween Spooktacular. I'm Steve.
I'm Crypto Zoo. Happy Halloween, motherfuckers. It's episode 97. We hope you guys are enjoying the holiday. We're halfway through the month already. It's been going by very fast. And you know we're all going to be sad come November 1st. But for now, we have a hell of an episode waiting just ahead of you.
If you guys been following us on the social media, which Crypto is going to tell you where you should be following us at in a moment, you know some of the guests we have. Jade the Libra is back. We have Lord Blood-Rah. We have Butch Patrick. We got music from the Destroyers. This is going to be a fucking blast. And we are excited, honored to have all these people on here.
Yeah, big thanks to everybody who's involved in this episode. And if you want to know about more episodes that are coming up along, in the future, because episode 100 is also coming up very soon, and we have something special planned for that one. You can follow us online at the Steve Strout, at CryptoZoo88. That's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all that. You can also become a member of our Facebook group. Just look up the Steve and Crypto Show podcast. You'll find it. We encourage you to throw in maybe a little sample of a project that you're working on. If you want to just check out what's going on in there, feel free. But if you are working on something yourself and you want to share it, we encourage you to do so. If you got a music video, if you got a comic book, if you just finished up a movie and you have the trailer and you want to post it in there, go ahead. We'd love to see it. So again, just look up the Steve and Crypto Show Facebook group and become a member.
And also, while you're on the social medias, be sure to leave us a review and or a rating if it's applicable on your favorite podcast app.
That's right.
And then, of course, you can go to our Buy Me a Coffee page at buymeacoffee.com and throw us a little tip. Helps keep us going, helps us do some advertising in cool magazines like Scary Monsters and Stapled Spine, who you hear monthly with their comic book roundup. Where else can they support us?
Well, of course, you can head over to Patreon, which is patreon.com/SteveCrypto. And it is a way to get your hands on some exclusive content. So basically everything that's over there goes to you guys first. If you're a member, you're going to get your hands on it first. If you want to check that out, go again, patreon.com/SteveCrypto.
We actually recently tried something fun. We're on our way to an event and we recorded on the road and got a little silly,
first time,
goofy, and counted roadkill and stuff. So check that out. If you're a patron, you could do as little as $1 a month and get in on that. We also have merch. Got to get the merch. No, you should already have the merch. You should be wearing a Steve and Crypto t-shirt on Halloween. But if you don't have one yet, you can go to our Etsy page. We have a Etsy shop set up with the Steve and Crypto merch. You can go to Etsy and search Steve and Crypto, or there's another magical little portal you can use that Crypto will tell you.
Oh, you're not going to give them the link? No?
It's etsy.com/something else and something else.
Close. You tried. Etsy/shop/Steve and Crypto merch. That's what he keeps me around for.
That's exactly why. Exactly. But we have t-shirts, we got mugs, we got magnets. And if you catch us at one of the events, which we are starting to book and do, we have other things. We have hats and pins and all kinds of stuff. So track us down on there, track us down in person.
Speaking of events, in-person events, we are going to be at Grit City Comic Show this weekend, this Saturday. That's the 22nd in Tacoma, Washington, formerly Jet City Comic Show. So you might be able to find it by looking up Jet City, but just do a Google search of Grit City Comic Show and get your tickets. We're going to be hanging out in the lobby, and come say hi. We have trivia. We want you to come and answer some horror trivia, and if you get it right, we're gonna maybe do a little drawing or something and put your name in the drawing, and then maybe later in the day we'll draw names for prizes.
And speaking of drawings, we're gonna do one for this very episode. So you know how we usually do our trivia every week. We're gonna drop a trivia question later in the episode, and of course contact either one of us with the answer, and your name will be put into the drawing for this special Halloween Spooktacular.
This special Halloween special.
Yeah, the special Halloween Spooktacular special. And we are working on a really cool prize pack. Like I can't really announce everything because I don't have all our prizes round up together, but I know I do have stuff from our guests on this episode. I have a new movie, a recent movie that people are loving or loving to hate.
But you know, that's a lot of horror films, honestly.
Lately, yes, for sure.
You either love them or love to hate on them.
100%. It's more and more like every year. But don't want to get into all that negative nonsense because this is the Halloween episode. And we're in a good mood and we're in good spirits and we're in the middle of fucking spooky season.
Hey, we hope that some of you are listening to this while you're out trick-or-treating with your kids. Maybe you got one earbud in while you're walking around. And if so, happy Halloween. We love you guys. We hope you guys are safe out there, getting lots of candy and having a great time.
And hopefully you guys hear this before Grit City Comic Con because we want you to come see us down there and we'll have candy.
Yep.
So yeah, we mentioned all those ways you can support the show. We mentioned the guests that we have on here. Before we get to them, I have to send a very special thanks to a couple friends of the show. We have our friends over at Fairflix. They are a streaming service, which you could get on Roku. It's like a really small, low price for a year subscription. And they just have tons of independent horror films, some classics, lots of horror hosted shows like Lee Turner. His show is on there, After Hours Cinema.
Yep.
Who we actually spoke with last week. Lots of cool stuff over there on Fairflix. So please definitely go check them out. Find them on Roku. Their website should be up and running pretty soon too, which we will add to the show notes for this episode. And also our friends at the Halloween Shirt Company. Their designs are very traditional, spooky. They have a really old school vintage feel to their designs, but they're spooky as shit.
Yep.
Definitely check them out. Go to HalloweenShirtCompany.com and take a look at some of these designs. Like, I just like that cool old retro vintage shit. But the HalloweenShirtCompany.com. Make sure you guys go check them out.
I've been looking at it for sure. There's a bag in there that I want to order for Sarah that I've had my eye on it for a minute now.
I think the first time you go to their site, they offer you a discount. I believe they give you a 10% off discount first time you shop there. And also you'll get free premium shipping on orders over to $75. And like, you'll see this stuff here and you'll be able to spend $75 like quick because they have that much cool shit. So yeah. So check out Fairflix, check out Halloween Shirt Company.
Also check out Cryptid Crate.
Go show them some love. If you go on my social media, particularly my Instagram, if you look in my under my profile, the little highlight, there's one that says like deals or something on it. And you just click on that and I have a whole runoff of great discounts and stuff you can get from some cool vendors. So check that out over on the Steve Strout Instagram. Get you that Cryptid Crate, get a discount. Before we get into our first guest, I know there's been a ton of movies and shows and everything coming out leading up to Halloween, which has been, a lot of it's been kind of beaten to death on social media, just talked about over and over. Everybody's talked about it. They don't want to hear about it again. But I feel like we should at least tell them what have been our personal favorites because they love Steve and Crypto. They love us. We're their third favorite podcast, and they really want to know what new show or movie come out has been both of our favorites. So what's been yours?
Man, I was hoping you were going to go first.
I'll go first. I'll go first.
Give me just a minute to think about my favorite, because, you know, I have a couple in mind, but it's been kind of tough because, like, a lot of them haven't been outstanding. Yeah. Like, a lot of them are okay.
Mine is going to be, I'm going to have to say, mine is probably the one that I thought I had gotten the most kind of negative feedback about until Halloween Ends came out. People are really disappointed in that. Like, I dug it. It was an okay movie.
I liked it too.
It wasn't bad. I didn't hate it. It wasn't my, but you know, I mean, nothing will ever top the very first original Halloween. You know, but I think my personal was probably the Munsters.
Yeah.
You know, because I just knew that I was gonna get. I wasn't expecting a campy, silly, fun show that was just so aesthetically just colorful and bright. Like, you think of Rob's stuff, he just has its whole color schemes of everything is just different. And just
the contrasting colors,
right?
Yeah.
And like, you look at like
they're cool.
And everybody was like, "Oh, he makes horror. He's gonna turn this into horror. He's gonna fuck.
It's gonna be a bunch of rednecks."
And I was thinking, like, his music videos. His music videos are cartoony and just fun. And I knew
this is like one long music video.
I knew that he was gonna put that into what he did with the Munsters, and knowing that he, you know, is Munsters obsessed. You know, he's a lifelong Munsters fan. Like, he wasn't gonna fucking destroy it. He was gonna do the best. He's gonna honor the original Munsters the best he can. And you know, everybody crapped on, oh yeah, of course he got his wife in it and this and that. But I thought she did a phenomenal job. Like, I feel like this was her best performance, was doing a tribute to Yvonne DiCarlo. Basically, she played as good as she could, did a good. She was believable. This is young, you know, because this was like prequel to the Munster series, and she was believable as a young Lily Munster.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were maybe upset noticing that a lot of the film was not going to be inside the house, the legendary house on Mockingbird Lane.
Well, his budget wouldn't allow it. Like, he would have to build an interior and the whole, you know what I mean? Because
there's the budget issue. And then also, I mean, it's the fact that it's a prequel.
And like, when he built the neighborhood for the movie, it's not like they built houses. They're like shells.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
they have the front of the house, basically.
And his budget wasn't as big as people might think. And I think he did the best he could, and he made a fun movie. And he just wanted to show that he just not, you know, his shit is not all redneck murdering shit. He made a fun movie that you can sit down and watch with your kids.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned, you know, Sherry, she did a great job. What the hell's his name? Is it Jeff?
Yeah.
Daniel Phillips.
Yep.
Was great as Herman. And then, of course, Danny Roebuck was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
as
he was my favorite part. Yeah.
He was amazing as the Count. And just, you know, at first, just like everybody else, I was like, oh man, what's going to happen? And the more I thought about it, I was like, okay, this is good. It's good. And then I found out like Danny Roebuck was in on it. And I'm like, no, this is real old school. You know, he's a monster kid too. He wouldn't take part in this if it was going to be fucked up or if it was going to be ruined. And he was hyped about it. And then people, you know, Butch Patrick, who is going to be on this episode, he got involved in it. Like, if it was crap, why would, you know,
why would the
original Munsters come in the movie?
Yep. Yeah, I think a lot of people just maybe forgot about how campy the show was, the
They
original
did.
show was, and they're expecting a serious film. I mean, it's meant to be goofy. It's meant to be campy.
I feel like there's a lot of these people that like are say they're fans of it, but haven't really watched it. You know what I mean? Like they're fans of the imagery, and you know what I mean? It's iconic imagery and it's spooky, and everybody's like, oh yeah, that's what the monster is. But it's like it's a sitcom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could have been
It's a comedy
regular
with monsters.
It could have been regular folks and written the same script, just change the names a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, it was a sitcom, and they made them as monsters, and that gave it a whole different twist on it, which I feel like made it like, you know, it made it a classic because it was different at the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. And nowadays I see so much negative on the internet, and people, I feel like there's just people out there that are just looking to pick things apart and trash it, and you know, just put negative feedback about it. And people forgot how to just fucking be entertained. Just be entertained. You could watch something. You don't have to overanalyze everything. You don't have to like I say, pick everything apart. Just be entertained.
Yeah.
Nothing,
it doesn't have to be an underlining message.
If it's not
it can
good,
just be for fun.
You make a better fucking movie or TV show. You know what I mean? Just, I don't know. I don't want to just, you know, just focus on that negative stuff. So, like I said, the monsters. The monsters. The monsters was probably my favorite thing to come out this season. I loved it. And I am absolutely like privileged and honored that we've talked to Danny Roebuck. And we have Butch on this episode. It's just cool, man, because the monsters was a big part of my childhood, and now this new movie is gonna, to me, is part of that whole thing. It's part of that now. It's part of my yearly viewing. It's part, you know, it's on my list for next year Halloween viewing, right up there with like Hocus Pocus 2. Hocus Pocus 2 was fun. It wasn't perfect, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. That's pretty much what I would say. Like I'll go along with what Sarah said about both of those movies, The Monsters and Hocus Pocus 2. They were fun and cute. You know, like that's pretty much what they were. They're lighthearted. They're cool. You can watch them with your kids. That. There's really nothing wrong with that. And I'm, you know, I have a 5 and 3-year-old, so I'm looking for more movies that are on the spooky side I can. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm looking for more films that are on the spooky side that I can watch with them. They're not ready for Gremlins yet. I'm not quite sure if they're ready. Well, if the oldest is ready for Ghostbusters or not, even though he knows who the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is and what franchise he belongs to. I just don't know if I'm ready to show him the movie yet.
It's not really scary though. I feel like he could probably get away with it. Try it.
I'm thinking so.
Ghostbuster test.
He's about to be 6, so I think he's ready. He's almost ready.
Yeah.
Because I think I watched it around 6 or 7, you know.
Just be entertained. So, like, freaking I'm doing my 31 days of Halloween thing. And last night I watched the Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo movie. And apparently, like, the internet is like in like an uproar because turns out Velma is gay.
Yeah. That's the one where they announce it.
First of all, then we fucking know. I assumed
she's been.
I assumed, but she was like,
yeah,
she was hot for one of the ladies on there. But like, this cares. Like, it's not gonna. Is people are like, this is for kids to watch and this and that. Like, who gives a shit? Kids are. It's life. It's part of life. You know what I mean? Just be entertained by the fucking shit. Don't turn it into a big fucking political or social thing. Don't pick it apart. Don't find what's wrong with it, find what you enjoy about it, and focus on that and have a good laugh or get scared or make fun of it in a fun way. You know what I mean? Laugh at the goofy fucking. See, you know, we watch like an 80s horror movie and laugh at like the campiness and like the cheesiness and low budget effects or something. But
Speaking
have
of that,
fun with it.
Speaking of that, just this last weekend, we were at the Paulsville Film Festival. And again, thank you so much to Kevin and Bettina for inviting us to be part of that. We had a great time for the first annual and hopefully many more to come. You know, we're there in this small room with maybe about 50 people or so, you know, and we're all watching these short films together, and it made me smile because everybody's like laughing and making comments like during the maybe like the cheesy parts of the films, or maybe where like, you know, the girl goes down the hallway, she hears noise, she's like, hello, and everyone's like, oh shit, you know, like, and you, to be honest, we don't really get that much here in our town. So to go somewhere else and be able to like mingle with our people and our crowd and you know, folks that feel like they like talking about movies like we do, it was really nice. It was really comforting. It just was a great feeling.
They were just there to be entertained. That's
exactly.
Just allow yourself to be entertained and you'll be less angry.
Yeah.
If you don't like
you'll be less angry. You might be a little hangry. And that was the title for one of the movies
that was
that
one
we
of
watched.
the films that was fantastic. That the only stuff you should crap on is stuff by Zack Snyder.
How did I know that was coming?
That's it. Except for, you know, the Dawn of the Dead remake. But I think that was amazing because James Gunn wrote it. But that's beside the point. So what now I gave you time now. What was your favorite?
Man, you know, to be honest, I still can't give you a top favorite. There's some that I liked, so I can, you know, briefly talk about them, but it's not like I'm still not
first one that comes to mind?
In love. Halloween Ends.
Okay.
Halloween Ends, really. Because I feel like I am in the minority. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. What
did you hate about it? Just kidding. Just kidding.
There's things I didn't like about it. Yeah, there's definitely some shit that I hated about it. You know,
but you're not going online trashing it and calling it a piece of shit and disappointment and
no, because they still surprised me. Like, up until the movie being released, there were a lot of promo clips, a lot of interviews with Jamie where she's saying, you know, thank you all for a wonderful 44 years and this and that. And I had, you know, it's just the best part of my career and this, you know, whatever. And it's been really, really cool to see how happy she is, you know, being our scream queen for all this time. But what I'm saying is maybe I'm not the only one who had some early predictions in my head before seeing the movie of how it might go down. They flipped it. They flipped it on me, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. I set lower expectations, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because there was more stuff about Halloween Ends that kind of disappointed me. So I was like, okay, not Halloween Ends, about Halloween Kills. And I was like, you know, not as hyped as I wanted to be about this movie. So I went in and I was pleasantly, you know, surprised at how much I did like it.
They seem to be doing well as the movie is in theaters still. I was kind of thinking, you know, maybe they're doing a disservice to themselves by having it out for streaming, and they should just say, nope, it's going to be in theaters only. But I mean, it's still the number one film right now.
They did.
So,
they made their money back.
Because I was thinking after Halloween Kills and how much negative how many negative responses it's gotten, that maybe a lot of people would say, well, when the new one comes out, I'm just watching it at home, which is what I did.
I think that's part of why they did decide to release it at home, because they did get kind of some feedback about the last one.
Yeah. So, I like Halloween Ends. I think it was cool. It was I mean, it was a ride. It was a roller coaster ride. There's some things I wasn't thrilled about. There was some stuff I really enjoyed. It doesn't sound like my kids liked it. No, just kidding. They didn't watch it.
Okay.
You could watch Scooby-Doo Meets Courage the Cowardly Dog with the kids. That's a fun one. That's on HBO Max.
Is that older or is that
no? It's fairly new in the last year or so. I think is yeah. So you could check that out. I just saw it on HBO Max recently. So yeah. So it's on HBO Max now. It might not be brand new, but it's new to me. I haven't seen it on there until this weekend, and I played it for my oldest, and he liked it. He thought it was cool. And most of us that like spooky stuff when we were kids grew up on Scooby-Doo and maybe Courage as well. So
Scooby was a lot of people's introduction to like ghosts and spooky things.
Oh yeah. So check that out. I haven't watched the Spirit movie yet, the Spirit Halloween store movie.
I watched it,
but I see that's out, and I'll check it out soon.
It was. Like
It's a movie.
I ain't mad that I watched it. It's a movie. Okay. It was probably made for 10 to 12-year-olds. Yeah. I felt a little too old to be watching it. Okay. It was entertaining. It was funny. They did some cool stuff in it. Like if you get a chance to see it, see it.
Okay.
I did. Christopher Lloyd was in it, and he did a lot of it was just him doing a voice, and it kind of didn't fit right. It was kind of off, and that kind of disappointed me. But other than that, I didn't hate it. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was cool.
Okay,
probably a little too spooky for your kids.
Yeah,
especially if you want to ever go into a Halloween store again with you.
Well, they already don't like spirits that much, so
I don't either.
My youngest
because of all the other fucking people in there that won't get out of my way.
Yeah, put that shit down so I can buy it.
Get out of the way so I can play with shit, asshole. Like, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, Halloween Ends. Hellraiser was okay. Honestly, there's nothing that I'm just flat out in love with that has come out. I mean, the Chucky series is pretty good so far. We're only a couple episodes in, though.
Which one release over this last month and a half is officially a staple in your Halloween viewing next year? Obviously, mine's the Munsters, and probably Hocus Pocus too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I might end up having like a trilogy marathon of the Halloween movies, and then I'll probably end up watching Hocus Pocus 1 and 2 back to back. You still can't you can't top the original. I don't think you ever will. They probably didn't intend
Hocus
to.
Pocus?
Yeah.
I feel like we got more Billy though, and it's always good to see Doug.
That was nice to see our friend Billy in there.
I heard people complaining that like the Billy Butcherson didn't get enough screen time, but I felt like we got more him in this one than the first one.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was nice to see him in there a little bit more. Yeah, I wish I could say I was in love with something. And there's probably some other things that have come out that I've forgotten, because there's so many different apps and different movies.
Well, I mean, I never said I was in love with anything I watched, but
I wish I could say that there's something this month that's come out that I'm just head over heels in love with, but I'm not. I really can't think of anything. There's some decent stuff, but like even the Hellraiser movie, I probably won't watch that again. But to be honest, I've never really been crazy into Hellraiser. The first one's cool. I like the first one. But like I tried watching a bunch of the sequels when Movies Plus was still here back in the day, and I rented them when I was a kid and watched them like your friends are all staying over or whatever, and we tried. But you're probably not even paying attention the whole time. We got bored, basically.
Yeah. Most of them I could leave the sequels.
Yeah.
Like none of them had like the story like the first one did. And then, you know what I mean? The sequels are just like, here's Hellraiser and here's
here's some gore.
We're going to do some shit. Like, cool, I'm all for that. But it didn't have that story to grab you. Like
And, you know, we were probably just the wrong age of watching those films, you know, and just not really, I don't know, not as invested. Like maybe they'd be a little better if I watched them now, or maybe not.
Who knows?
First one's a gem. Second one's all right. After that, meh. So, yeah, I'll watch Hocus Pocus 2 again, and I'll watch Halloween Ends again for sure.
Okay, so there you go. The Steve and Crypto's, I guess, favorite 2022 spooky season releases. I went with the Munsters. He doubled down and went with Halloween Ends and Hocus Pocus 2. So those are pretty good. Like
less singing, witches. If you do another movie, less singing.
Less singing?
Yeah. Right. You don't have to be a bunch of like dancing monkeys right at the beginning when you're resurrected. Like
you didn't like that.
I know the witches. I know the witches are back. I'm watching. I can tell they're back.
It just made you want to dance, and you hate that when that part of you comes out. And
I did think it was kind of funny when the girls are like, "Who the hell are they singing to?" You. Yeah, one song is enough.
There may be multiple songs if they're good songs, and we'll leave it at that. I feel like, you know, we're the third favorite podcast, and everybody loves listening to us ramble. But I feel like for some reason this episode, they might be here for the guests. So I think we should probably get into our guests.
We'll just drag it out. So I guess you want to hear them.
Guess you want to hear guests. Would you like to do the honors of introducing our guests?
I sure would. They were on our show last year. They actually gave us a song for the last Halloween special. And this time they're here to talk with us a little bit. Well, actually, I wasn't able to make this chat, but Steve was around to talk with them for a little while. And I can't wait to hear it. And I hope you guys enjoy listening to this. This is our chat with Jade the Libra and Dallas the Shadow Figures. Enjoy.
It's Dario Eville here, and you're listening to Steve and Crypto Halloween Special. And if you don't know who I am, well, you have the perfect opportunity too. I also have a Halloween special coming to YouTube this October 31st. Join me weekly on the Mausoleum of Terror, or stream my latest episodes. It's going to be a scream.
Hey, we are on the Steve and Crypto Show Halloween Spectacular, or as Crypto calls it, the Spooktacular. But I feel like I'm 6 years old when I say that, so we're gonna go with spectacular. That's what I'm gunning for. Nothing less than spectacular. So yeah, we have some of our favorite guests have come back to hang out for a few and talk some Halloween stuff. I think if they come back anymore after this, they're gonna be honorary members of the Steve and Crypto Show or something. Which is bad, because then if we start making money, we'll have to pay him. So
pay some good times.
Yeah, there you go. We have the YouTube sensation. Let's call it sensation. This is the spectacular. You could be the sensation. And then we could all the fancy S words around here. But I'm sure we'll probably drop some other S words too. We have Jade the Libra, who is the YouTube queen of Halloween, if you ask me, and
I'll take that.
And her husband Dallas, and of course, collectively we've played their music, and they're known as Shadow Figures. Which there's rumor that there might be music coming pretty soon. We don't know.
Maybe.
We'll see.
It's a possibility.
Maybe
it is a possibility.
Possible. So yeah, we're hanging with Jade and Dallas again. Welcome back, guys.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
So it's almost Halloween again this year. The season is going way too fast. I'm sure you can agree.
I'm not ready. I'm ready and I'm not ready. It's that bittersweet feeling of being really excited and being really sad that it's October all at the same time.
Yeah. And like I was telling you guys, my whole summer were just kind of wasted. So it's extra sad. I've been trying to live through everybody and through the Halloween Forever group and seeing what everybody has going on. And it's just making it hard, but this makes up for it chatting with you guys.
I know that the Halloween Forever group is dangerous sometimes because when you almost lucked out a little bit. Not really because it sucks that you weren't feeling well. That part you didn't luck out on, but at the other side of it, it's like whenever I'm looking at it, I'm like, great, now I gotta go look for this because like I see something and I really want it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, now I gotta go out and it's 500 degrees and I'm sweating already.
Right.
But at the same time, we're glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. I know I was laid up, and I kept seeing the jack-o'-lantern head skeleton from what is it, Target, I think.
Oh yeah,
The orange guy. I kept seeing that. I was like, damn, I need that, but kind of glad I didn't go out and spend too much money this year.
Yeah, that is the part of it that's the silver lining right there. But the jack-o'-lantern skeleton, it was one that was hard to find this year too. That was one that.
And I saw you did get it. You did get him.
You didn't?
No, you did. I saw that you got him. Yeah, no, I did. I didn't even get out to.
I'm looking at him right now.
Yes, foot is hanging out of one of our rooms on other stuff.
So I have like some boxes stacked up in like kind of a storage-ish. No, it's like a bedroom, but it's turned into Halloween storage 2.0.
It's called hoarding 2.0.
Stop. It's not Halloween hoarding.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's the skeleton is kind of sticking out because I put him in there from my office. And so his arms and legs are sticking out of the doorway. And so when I first put him there, I walked by and I was terrified. It scared me so bad because I forgot that I put him there. And then you just turn around and you see it looks like a life-size figure, just like sitting there, and I freaked out. But yeah, I did end up getting one, but I think I lucked out because I caught Target before, like they were just starting to put stuff out. Once they start putting it out, then you're over.
Yeah. I kind of wish they had a more consistent like release time, like Walmart, like you kind of know when Walmart's gonna start putting stuff out, like literally like the last week of September our Walmart starts putting everything out. Like Target, I don't know. It's
you don't
so
know if
weird.
It's going to be before Labor Day or after Labor Day, and always my hope is that they don't put it out during Labor Day weekend because it's always just mayhem in the stores.
It's already busy.
Holiday weekend. And so I always and I'm never going to go out shopping with all the people out there during Labor Day weekend and fight the crowds. And so I'm like, please be after. Usually it is, but sometimes they'll put it out during that weekend and then I miss it all.
Oh, yeah. See,
Walmart out here I miss it every year. Miss it because I'll go and they're clearing out school supplies. And then I go back and it's all gone. And I'm like, great. So
that's so disappointing. You go into school supplies and then you're like, I'll come back in a week and a half. And then you start seeing Christmas shit pop up.
I've been avoiding. I kind of threw in the towel early this year because I started seeing Santa, in the same, like on the same shelf as jack-o'-lantern or witch or whatever. And I'm like, no, sir, you get your own aisle.
Slow it down. Yeah, get your own. You got like months. You have 2 whole months. We get like literally 1 month.
Well, I think the thing and maybe I'm just biased with Halloween, but I like all the holidays. Like I like, all the different holidays, but I feel like when Halloween comes out early, like it can never come out too early because there's not a whole lot of decorating holidays that kind of fall in the summertime where people just go all out and decorate their kitchens and their living rooms, like everything. And so I feel like it's if people are ready to see it. And then I feel like with Christmas, it's like, okay, I want to wait until after the big decorating holiday of Halloween. Right. You got to wait until after Halloween. Right. I mean, I don't make the rules, but if I did,
I think if I made the rules, I would change the calendar around a little bit and I would space out the holidays a little better.
Yeah.
So, like right at the end of the year, Halloween, Thanksgiving, you always spend a ton of money on, food to for guests and stuff, and then Christmas, and it's like space that out. There's 12 months. There's 4 big holidays where we spend the money between Valentine's, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Halloween. Space it out. Give them 3 months in between each one, and then give me a chance to recoup. By time
exactly. Well, and that's also why I'm not that mad when they put stuff out really early for Halloween because I can be done a little earlier to kind of catch back up. But at the same time, there's still stuff that they put out randomly. Like I've been seeing on the Facebook group, there's still good stuff coming out. And I'm like, do I brave going and seeing all the Christmas just to find the gems? Or do I bum myself out? You know what I mean? Seeing all of it. So all the Christmas out.
Yeah, it was like Home Depot had Christmas out the other day. Yeah. I didn't see any Halloween, just all Christmas. Or then again, it's not like they have a ton of stuff anyway, but yeah, they had their
and they don't like Home Depot's been selling out of
set up and Christmas trees.
Home Depot's been selling out of Halloween so quickly that they don't even put hardly, like at least in our area, they're not even putting up the 12-foot skeleton anymore. Like they don't even really put up the displays.
Right. It sells itself now.
Yeah, well, stuff seemed like to be sitting there, and like there was like even signs like, "Hey, they're not selling anything until this day," and it almost seemed like they were just like really lagging to get it up, and then they got it up, and now it's like Christmas. And it's just like
it takes them forever to get it out, and then you go in one day and it's gone.
Yeah,
no,
how do they do that? It's like magic. Yeah,
that's how it is. We're like, I feel like Home Goods does a decent job of like they sprinkle, but they get stuff in consistently, but they sprinkle it out, you know, every week. They're putting, so if you missed something last week, you're gonna still find something this week. Where some of the other stuff is like it's one and done. You get your chance to fight everybody to find it, and I mean that's the perks of going hunting. I mean, I used to go hunting like once a week and be able to find all the goods and then be able to still hit clearance. And like I'd hit target clearance. And one year I filled up a whole cart of like 60, 75%, 80% off, like different things. And like a huge skull, like all these really good pieces. Now clearance, like you can't find anything, hardly anything makes it to clearance. And then I have to go basically every day to find, if I want to find what I want to find, I have to go every day because people are just going and wiping out the stores. I mean, they go quick.
Right. Do you think it'll be the same this year?
I think this year there will be clearance.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of stock. Like people just have a lot of stuff. So
yeah, the last couple of years with the supply chain stuff, I think the stock was kind of.
And it seems like there's a lot of stuff they're putting back out that we saw like last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. So there is going to be a lot of leftover stuff. It's probably been sitting on boats coming from China or in warehouses or something because last year it was hard to ship everything.
Yeah. Well, and that's where we saw with Michael's this last year. And I think that's why we saw a lot of repeats this year, because I'm wondering if a lot of the stock that they had ordered later, that it didn't come in until February. And so they're like, we're not going to sell it now. We'll just sell it in October, because that's what with Michael's, a lot of their stuff they got in super late last year. And then I was out looking for stuff in January and February. They were selling these boxes full of skeletons for like $5, like life-size skeletons. People were going and picking them up. And they were like mystery boxes, and they'd open them and there'd be like life-size skeletons in there. Not, you know, obviously not real human skeletons, but you know, the plastic ones.
Those ones would be 10.
Don't want to get it twisted.
That's funny. So since we're talking about all the decor, what have probably been your top few releases this year?
Definitely the pumpkin head skeleton you mentioned from Target. That's one this year that I feel like a lot of people were excited about. I was excited about. It's just, I mean, it's not groundbreaking, but it was different than all the other skeletons I feel like we've seen, and just kind of a cool guy, I feel like. And then I've seen the 12-foot skeleton in other years, but the new witch this year is like the 10-foot or 12-foot witch that floats, and then the stand is a broom. Probably one of the cooler pieces, but also they had the Inferno 12-foot skeleton back this year from Home Depot, and that one's really the one with the big scary pumpkin head with the skeleton body. He's pretty cool.
I think his chest lights up or something.
Yeah, his chest lights up. Yeah, it's really cool. But the witch was cool, and
the jack-o'-lanterns 8-foot stack is really cool.
Home Depot just killed it this year, so I gotta say, like Home Depot probably in general.
Where were those from?
Those?
Yeah,
I have Halloween decorations in my office.
I just saw something. I was like, that's kind of cool. Like, it's kind of like a old school.
It's like that was from.
Was that Home Goods?
Oh no, what's that? Tuesday Morning.
Yeah,
They had these cool little pedestal thing, or they're kind of like topiary looking things, and they had some vintage looking, like witches and owls on top that were kind of cool. But Home Depot in general this year, I think, just killed it with the 8-foot pumpkin stack, the 10-foot witch, then all the 12-foot skeletons, and then you got the trick-or-treaters. I feel like they're just every year.
Too.
Oh yeah, they had a big cauldron. So a lot of stuff that just this year I pretty much was just like, take my wallet, Home Depot.
There you go.
Light it in. The Cracker Barrel ghost. Did you see that over on the group this year?
No, I didn't see any of the Cracker Barrel stuff.
I figured you'd been like, yeah, like 10,000 times.
No, it was on.
Okay,
so it came out early, and when it came out, it was like every post on the group was this goat. Okay, I'll show it to you because I feel like you might know what it is.
It's like a wraith looking, holding a lantern. When you see it, you'll probably know. Exactly.
I'll probably recognize it. Yep.
Yeah, you got it.
I might be breaking everything, but
Uh-oh.
I have this one in my office because I'm keeping it in here.
Oh yes.
Yes, I knew
I've
you
seen
knew what it was. I was like,
that.
wait
That's
a minute,
cool.
there's no way you didn't see that because it was literally on every here.
I think it needs to be black, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was from Cracker, of all places, Cracker Barrel. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily here, Dallas. I can do it. Okay.
Yeah, we don't even have Cracker Barrel near us.
Oh, you don't?
No.
That's a good one.
It seems like they've been getting in the game a bit the last couple of years, though.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought to look at Halloween decorations there for sure, because it has like a little country store or whatever with like little candies and stuff.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have thought to look for Halloween there. But they had that wraith and it was popular. And I know it was kind of, you either love it or you hate it kind of thing, or some people just think it's overrated or whatever. But I don't know. I really, we wanted it last year and they probably had like one in each store. And so they prepared this year. So I was excited to get that one.
Right.
I think still a lot of people didn't get them that wanted them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
like
they'll
one
be
of those
back
things,
next
yeah.
year. It's kind of like the Headless Horseman, which is, I might as well add that to the list because it makes the list every year, just because it's one of those classic pieces that I think people like because you can leave it up all year, or it's just a classic Halloween piece that I feel like is never going to go out of date. Like you'll keep that one. I mean, it's the Headless Horseman.
Yeah, it's like a timeless tale. Yeah.
And just like a cool silhouette of the Headless Horseman. And just, we've had, I broke one year. I told the story last year.
Yep.
Broke my heart in a million pieces. Still think about that. Still bitter about
Now,
it.
was your heart broken more pieces than the statue, or was
it? Yes, actually. Well, okay, because the statue, it's funny because it didn't break in that many pieces, surprisingly, because it fell from like the mantle, so it was actually pretty high up. But yeah, no, my soul was shattered. I broke 2 of them. We don't want to talk about it.
Did you say, if I recall, I think you said a piece was missing and you found it like later on?
Yes,
yeah.
I did. So that, and okay, so then plot twist. I put them in a Ziploc baggie to have all the pieces together because, I'm trying to be organized over here in my Halloween chaos, and lost the baggie. So we do not know where the parts are currently, but one day I'm going to find them and I'm going to glue them back together.
She's not going to find them.
No.
Even if she does, she'll probably lose them again or lose the glue.
Lose it something.
But the glue can be
now the glue's
ordered.
gone. Yeah.
The glue can be reordered.
Yeah,
the parts cannot. So, but I have one intact. So right now. So anyway.
Just use one.
Yeah, we just have one.
I don't think I've ever seen that one in person. Like I've looked, but I mean I've seen it, but I've never like.
You want to see it? Do you want me to get it?
No, you don't. I've seen it, like you showed and stuff, but I've never personally seen it. Yeah.
You know what's funny is I haven't actually seen it in store. We saw the original one we had. The original one we had was much smaller, and that's the first one I broke, and it was really small. And now they're huge. They're probably about as big as that ghost. Right. And I still haven't seen it in person. I only got it because people were nice enough. Some of the spooky family was nice enough to send it to, I got 2 of them. And sadly, I was like, oh, I'm going to have 2 on my mantle. And then broke one, of course.
When you find the baggie, you could put like a baggie full of parts on the mantle and
Exactly.
Right.
And then when I wake up, I can just hope that they put themselves back together.
There you
like
go.
empty.
There you go.
I'm just
You know, I think
that.
the worst stuff that's come out that's gotten popular over the last few years is the effing gnomes.
Oh my!
I hate the gnomes.
Okay, gnome.
Gnome.
It's one of those things where I don't like to rain on other people's gnome parade, but there's just so many of them, I think, is the thing that gets me. And they're not like I feel like I'd be like somewhat okay if they were for the garden, because then they actually have like a Halloween garden gnome purpose. Like I feel like a Halloween garden is actually not a bad decor thing.
Right.
But then like they're stuffed, they've got dangly legs, they've got fur, they've got, there's so many that it's like, it's taking over all the Halloween decorations. I'm like, this entire wall of gnomes could be other things mixed in.
Yeah, it's nothing more of a letdown. And like recently at a local supermarket,
yeah,
seeing like the Halloween, it's like, oh shit, they got Halloween stuff, let me go look. And then it turns out it's just a big shelf of gnomes, and I'm just like,
and that's the thing, I'm like, it's the whole shelf. Like they reproduce at a rapid rate, and I don't understand how there's so many.
They're literally reproducing. Like somebody's like feeding them after midnight or something.
Exactly, they are the
like
new
gremlins.
They're not. Yeah. I can't compare them to gremlins because gremlins are way better. But
yeah,
it's at the same time that's exactly what they're doing. Is people are definitely feeding them after midnight or doing something behind closed doors, because there's no way
something sinister happening behind the scenes.
I'm fine with like the holiday gnomes or whatever, you know what I mean? But now they've got Valentine's, Easter, 4th of July, Halloween. I'm like, okay, let's move on a little. And then this year they had a bunch of Halloween fairies too, and I was just like,
fairies.
Next gnome.
I like the 4th of July idea though, and you could just like stuff M80s or something in them and just blow them up.
Exactly. Get the revenge against the gnomes.
It's war. This is war. Come the gnomes for America. I do love the dogs in costumes, but there are a lot of dogs in costume decor pieces. Yeah.
It's gotten out of control as well.
Like actual dogs or like decor? Okay.
So it's like not dog costumes. I like
dogs in costume are freaking adorable.
But like it's like all the decor of various breeds of dogs wearing various costumes.
Right.
But it's on everything: towels, shower curtains, soap dispensers, statues.
You can get a dog costume with dogs in costumes on it.
There you go. Yeah, it's weird, some of the stuff. I think like somebody makes a buck off something and then everybody wants to just cash in on it, and now all the statues are dogs in costumes and gnomes.
Yeah, right. That's a weird idea. You never thought that, like, this is the next thing, dogs in costumes.
This is gonna be huge.
This and gnomes.
We're gonna get
gnomes
rich.
doing yoga, holding pumpkins. Like who would have thought? You know,
the yoga gnome or the yoga skeletons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are stupid too.
Well, there's one that we didn't buy.
If I had a yoga studio though, I would absolutely want the yoga skeleton. You know what I mean? Like I'd be like, that's how I want it to look, is just an absolutely creepy yoga studio, and I would go to that yoga studio if it existed, even though I
like that would work. But no, like somebody like myself, if I had a yoga skeleton, being somebody that would probably die if I did yoga, like it makes no sense.
Just put them next to your Halloween chicken nuggets.
There you go.
Well, there was this one that we thought was a yoga skeleton. We're like, no. And then it was actually like this skeleton that holds an iPad, but we just wrote it off immediately because we thought it was a yoga skeleton. Now we wish we would have got it because it's kind of cool.
It was actually kind of a cool, because it was just like it.
But it looked like a skeleton doing yoga.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is this large yoga skeleton with all this empty space? Like it was a huge yoga skeleton, and then come to find out it's for an iPad. I'm like, dang it, we could have had a skeleton iPad holder.
Yeah,
we missed the opportunity.
You missed on that one.
Yeah.
I
No,
know.
you need a gnome iPad holder.
I know exactly. Spooky gnome.
You'd have to
I
pass
mean,
it
and
in,
I
too.
try. It's so funny because anytime I try to validate it, people are like, like I try to because I really like. I know when people like their Halloween decor, they're like, they're convicted. Like this is what I like. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, I understand. So I try to validate it. People are like, do not validate the gnomes. Do not do it. And I'm like, I know. I'm trying to find a way, but
it's
hard.
weird because you see them putting out so much of these things every year for the past few years, but you hear more people bitching about them. So like why or
And
who's
I don't-
buying them? Like
I
why
don't
is
know
this
if they
happening?
sell that well either. I feel like what's
Yeah.
always left over, there are always a ton of Halloween gnomes left over.
Right.
And so I think I think the gauge, and I think that's been my main problem with it, is just there's so much. So like, I think there's there's a market for them, but I don't think the market is as big as they're making it out to be because there's just the ratio of gnomes, and then you'll get like a really cool decor piece and they'll only have one. You know what I mean? Or even like the Headless Horseman is super popular. Every year people are looking for that Halloween decor piece. And then the stores get maybe a couple or whatever. Maybe even they get 10. Okay, let's say they get 10. It's like, well, okay, for every 10 Headless Horsemen, you have 200 gnomes.
Yeah.
And people are looking for those. They can find them at the grocery store, like you were saying.
I think they are multiplying somehow.
I agree.
They're multiplying and there's leftovers from last year or something.
I don't know if they're gonna keep going with it, but I mean, they did start retiring those witches with the pretty dresses. You know, those witches that just had so many of those. I feel like those were the gnomes of gnomes past.
The bigger ones.
Yeah, they were like,
people actually like those a lot.
The
Though.
I know
gnomes
people
like
do,
people like those
but they
more.
were the same ones every year. They weren't like
right,
they didn't get any new dresses or any new shoes
True.
or any new hair colors or anything. So it's like those witches with the really fancy, like, the shiny dresses or whatever. They're kind of creepy.
Yeah.
With it.
It's kind of just like a whimsical looking witch sort of deal, yeah.
But they didn't have hardly any this year. So they retired those for the gnomes. Full stock of gnomes.
See, I just thought of a really good business idea. We need to go into business. We need to make a gnome that has changeable outfits for all the holidays. So people only have to buy one gnome. And what we'll do is we'll make a bunch of cash real quick, and then we'll kill the gnome industry at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what? I fully support the one gnome, the sustainable gnome. The environmentally friendly gnome.
We can pitch it like that, and
for every season.
that's
I am
a selling point right there.
Exactly.
Then they'll stop having to mass produce the gnomes. They'll make like gnome contraceptives or something so they can't reproduce overnight. And
seriously, stop feeding the gnomes, everybody.
Stop feeding them.
I know. I agree. I think that is one. There aren't a lot of disappointing Halloween decorations, but that one, it's every year I have to include a little sound effect whenever I see one. That's slight, slightly scary / disappointing sound effect when I run into one.
Yeah.
But I don't know if are there any disappointing ones that you've thought of?
Not really. No, nothing really.
Any other disappointing ones that off the top of your head?
This year, like I said, I missed out on a lot, but mainly the gnomes.
Yeah.
Nothing like just the gnomes just stand out. Like I can't think
agree.
of. But since you did mention the yoga skeletons, those are kind of lame too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those ones have also been done over, or meditating skeletons or whatever. They're all the different postures. I saw a shower curtain this year that had all the skeletons in all the different positions. So,
that's
downward dog.
Great idea for a shower curtain,
Child pose. Just in case you forget.
They've kind of put a lot of things in like yoga or meditating poses, like Bigfoot and aliens, and it's weird. I wonder what it is.
I know. Well, it might be. I try to justify it every time, and it's hard. It gets harder every time. I just try. I'm like, let me see the vision. Let me see if I can find it.
Try to think of some reason why it makes sense. Like, no.
Yeah. Who's the person out there that really loves this shit?
Like, where did they get the idea for the meditating skeleton? Did somebody just go into like some deep meditation and just die and just
Yeah. That's not when you're sitting at a
they
board.
forgot.
Like,
Yeah,
this idea, and they're like,
they
yeah, that's
forgot
awesome.
that they forgot their uncle was meditating and just came back 10 years later and his skeleton was still there in a pose and they just got the idea. Like the light bulb went off.
Like super into yoga. There's no other excuse.
Either that or they just don't try anymore. It's like, yeah, yoga, skeletons, fuck it. We'll set it on. Here you go. Halloween decoration.
Yeah.
I wonder. I mean, although I've been seeing like at Home Goods, there was less there was some, they did have some decorations, but they had a lot of, like plateware and wine glasses and towels, lots of stuff like that. Sheets.
There were some cool, like,
and they had really cool plates this year. Yeah.
There were some cool
They had some really cool kind of folky art looking plates that were really cool.
It's like a British
company. I can't remember what it is.
Royal something maybe.
Yeah. But
they were really cool nonetheless. Yeah.
They had some really cool plates this year and they had way more in stock this year than last year. So like last year, I saw like one plate and I was like, dang it, what am I going to do with one plate? Although Home Goods, sometimes you just have to collect them all over the years.
Yeah.
They'll put more out, but
I'm not gonna lie, we love Home Goods like all year.
Yeah.
For all the seasons, for everything. We spend a lot of money at Home Goods.
I know.
That's probably
it gets our
go-to. They got all the stuff. I mean, you need towels, you need kitchen shit. Go to Home Goods.
And then you go into the checkout line and who knows what you're going to find there.
So a jar of olives because they just pop up randomly and you're like,
Yep.
Garlic olive oil.
Yeah.
That too.
Spaghetti sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never bought the spaghetti sauce, so
I don't know if we have either, have we?
I don't know.
We've gotten coffee pots there before.
Puzzles. They have some Halloween puzzles this year.
Oh, did they?
I bought one, not gonna lie. I'm gonna try it out. See if it's good.
Are you normally a puzzle person or are you
a Halloween puzzle person,
okay
for sure. No. I think it can be. Normally I don't have, we don't have a ton of time to sit down and do a lot of puzzles, but I like them.
Yeah, we'll go through phases and we'll start some puzzles and we'll build 2 or 3 and then just get sick of it.
It gets stuck somewhere or whatever. Yeah, I like doing puzzles, and the disappointment is I'm not a big duplicate. Like I won't do it again. Like once I've done it, I'm like, okay.
What's the point? Yeah.
Like I know some people can revisit puzzles, but I won't pick it back up once I.
And we always end up losing a piece somehow.
Yes.
Like I don't know how it happens, and you can never find it. You do find it, but like 2 years later, after you're pissed off and give up.
Right.
I know exactly where those pieces go. It's with your socks, hair ties, anything that people lose out there in the world. That's where the puzzle piece goes, I feel like.
There's little Halloween fairies and gnomes that are stealing shit.
Yes.
Because they know that we're hating
that
on
is
them,
why
so
they
exist. Yeah.
Can you buy puzzles with yoga skeletons?
I'm
sure
I bet there is. I bet
I have not seen it yet.
Did you see there's a company that was making like horror puzzles?
No,
like horror posters, like movie posters, and I've seen like an Elvira one and all kinds of cool stuff. Those would be fun.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't. I did see I did see like some poster that has like a scratcher, like you can scratch off horror movies after you.
Oh yeah.
Scratchers like that.
It's like a poster.
Not like gambling. It's not.
I guess watching some movies is kind of a gamble. So
but hold on a minute. A horror themed lottery ticket, scratchers. I wouldn't even be mad at that.
Yeah, probably.
I would actually probably buy one.
Yeah, you scratch off the movies that you've seen. Yeah, that's cool. We broke it out the other day for the first time. I have a artist buddy up here who does a lot of horror themed art, and he made a series of bingo cards, horror movie bingo, and instead of numbers, it's all like horror movie tropes.
Cool.
So you just play it when you're watching the movie and just shoot for bingo. Like there'll be like a running stream or like a puddle of blood or.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's fun. We because I do every year. I go through and I watch something horror Halloween themed every day, through the whole October, like 50 million other people do.
Do you have a go-to though that you have to watch every year?
Ooh. I always watch Night of the Living Dead original. That's my hands down my favorite horror movie. And probably one of my 5 favorite movies too.
Yeah.
But definitely that. Well, usually my fiance, she kind of is not into the horror as much as I am, but she likes some stuff. She could do like campy 80s stuff. She likes, the cutesy stuff like Hocus Pocus and all that. And
don't lie, you like it too.
Oh, I love Hocus Pocus. I ain't gonna lie. 2 is great too. I love that too.
We haven't seen it yet. I feel like a non-Halloween person saying that. Like I haven't seen it yet, but I haven't seen it yet. But I'm finishing up decorating, and then I feel like once I'm finished, then I'm gonna sit down and watch it.
People are gonna hear this.
I know. I probably watched it by the time you heard it.
There you go. Now you have a goal. Like by the time this launches.
No, I haven't seen it, and I do because I love the original.
It was fun.
Was it fun? Okay.
It wasn't. Obviously, it's not going to be as good, but it's a lot. It's a lot of fan service for us. A lot of cool little Easter eggs in there.
No, I don't think that's what.
Oh.
You there?
Oh, wait, there you
yeah. Oh, thought we lost you for a second.
Yeah.
Is that our internet connection or is it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Ours kind of.
So something. Don't restart because I don't know.
I'm not restarting it.
We're good right now.
Classic married couple over here.
I'll start over what I was saying. So yeah, there's a lot of fan service, a lot of Easter eggs and stuff, kind of calling back to the original movie. The cast was great as expected. And I think I lost you again.
We seem to do this every time.
Wait,
there we go. You're back. I don't know why.
Is it?
Yeah.
Zoom can do that sometimes.
Zoom gets weird sometimes. Yeah. Okay, so Hocus Pocus 2. It was good. Check it out. You guys will dig it. If you like the first one, it won't be it's not as good. Of course, it wasn't going to be. Most sequels aren't, but it was definitely enjoyable. And it's probably going to go on my yearly list. I'll probably make it like a double feature every year and watch them both.
Is there a sequel that you think is better than the first?
Sinister 2.
Okay, you think it's better than the first one?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. You don't?
I mean, just say they're both equally as good. Yeah.
Only because we were talking about Sinister
jump out immediately. Yeah. I'm just trying to think of a good
sequel. Because I mean, we were just Child's Play 2 is good.
Yeah.
But
Child's Play 2 was really good.
About Sinister and
I mean, Child's Play 2 definitely probably had some of the best Chucky one-liners for sure.
Child's Play 2 is really good.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know what other but I want to watch Hocus Pocus 2. That will be done. We will be watching it before Halloween gets here. But I think I was just saving it for I want to be able to enjoy it without, editing or doing something on the side or, decorating. I want to sit down and really watch it and enjoy it and maybe have a double feature kind of situation with it.
Yeah.
Like you were kind of talking about. But I like the cutesy movies and the scary.
Yeah.
I like a good.
Even like the extra corny stuff like Halloween Town. We'll watch that.
I love Halloween Town.
See, that's what you guys should do. You guys ever come up this way, we should plan. We'll hang out and we'll all make a road trip down to actual Halloween Town in Oregon.
Have you been to Halloween
I've
Town?
never been.
You've never been? Oh my gosh, I want to go so bad. I
need to go down.
How far is it from you?
It's probably take maybe 4 hours to get down there.
That's not bad.
It's not too bad.
No.
It's kind of not too far from Portland. It's
we gotta do that because I've been dying to go and I love Halloween Town. I know for a lot of and I didn't even really grow up on it because when that came out, I think in where I live, Disney was on fancy cable, of HBO and all the stuff, So I didn't even get Disney until way later, when I was in high school or whatever. And then at that point, I was probably watching scary movies with my brother, and we were all into horror, and that's what we were doing. So I didn't even watch Halloween Town until probably 2015, 2016, something like that.
Yeah, I literally hadn't seen it until just a few years ago. My fiance made me watch it, and I dug it. It was fun.
I
Yeah,
love
it's
it.
a good
I
movie,
love
yeah.
the campy stuff. I love the cab driver. I love the whole thing. I have to watch
Oh,
it.
the cat! I didn't even think of the cab driver. He was cool.
Yeah.
They do like a festival. You've
Yeah,
probably
I
seen.
did. I heard that.
And they have like a little cab set up with the driver prop, and some of the cast usually comes up. And
I love that.
That sounds
I
cool.
want to go because it's so cool, and they have the pumpkin, the jack-o'-lantern, and big jack-o'-lantern and all that. I really want to go.
When do they do that? Probably October.
I think I think it usually lasts a couple weeks. Sometime like later in September, early October, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Cool.
I know it wasn't too long ago. But it definitely looks like a good time.
Yeah.
We watched Casper. We revisited Casper the other day too, which I hadn't seen Casper in years.
The Christina Ricci, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. That was a cute movie too.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I liked that one when I was younger. I hadn't seen it in years though.
I like the original. Did you ever watch the original Worst Witch? 80s?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
That one's really good. What's that guy's name? He was in like Home Alone 2. He was in English guy. He's been in a lot of movies. He was in it.
I don't know.
He was like nonetheless, it's a good movie. It's an 80s flick. I think it's on YouTube.
I feel like I might have seen it. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the other one?
80s
Teen
campy
Witch.
one.
We watched
Yeah.
Teen Witch. You ever seen that one, Teen Witch?
I hadn't seen that, but she recommended that recently.
You
She brought
gotta
it up.
watch
She was like, "You haven't seen that?" Like
the soundtrack on that one. You gotta.
Yeah. Definitely
It's definitely
a product
80s.
of its time.
Yes.
right.
It's gonna. I think you'll like it for what it is.
Yeah. I'll have to dig in. I got a long list of movies to go through.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll watch one. Those will be. I haven't picked my daily movie today yet, so maybe I'll pick one of those movies.
Teen Witch.
Teen
Go
Witch.
for it. I
Teen
mean,
Witch.
it's definitely cheesy. If you're wanting cheesy, that's the one.
What do you usually use for streaming? Do you have pretty much?
Oh, I got Hulu, Paramount. What are the other ones? Peacock, Shudder. I like most of them that matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
HBO.
Have you seen the Sinister movies?
Sinister.
The ones. It's kind of. What did you see? Black Phone.
Yes.
Did you like it?
I did. I
I liked
enjoyed
it too. It's the same. One of the
Same director,
producers,
right? Yeah,
or no,
yeah.
the guy who directed Black Phone, I think,
It's
also
Sinister
produced
movies, yeah.
Sinister. The Sinister
Was it
movies.
Ethan Hawke? He was in Sinister, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so was the.
Okay.
So
The
if
first one. I think.
I think both of them are on. I can't remember which. If it's Paramount or Peacock or.
I think Peacock.
Okay.
Or actually, Sinister may only be on Netflix.
Well,
I
there's
saw
one.
on-
There's one on Netflix and one on another one. Like there's Sinister 1 and Sinister 2. And the only reason I say this is because we were watching It Chapter 2, and the guy who plays the kid version or the adult version of Eddie is he's in Sinister too.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
All right.
But that's the only reason.
They're both good. Yeah. They're definitely worth watching.
It's just especially since it's scary season. That's the only reason I mentioned it. But it's not
So-
really Halloween related.
What's a must watch for you guys?
Halloween original for sure. And then Halloween H2O. You should watch that. Halloween
H2O.
H2O.
All right. That's
You gotta
that's.
watch.
I'm definitely gonna watch it, and I'm
Yes.
gonna.
You'll have to let us
I'm
know
gonna-
what you think.
I will. I definitely will.
We
I'll,
watched that
I'll
one
post in the
here.
group. I'll post a poster with a thumbs up or down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the first scene is epic.
Of which movie?
H2O.
Only
Oh,
H2O,
sure. Oh, okay.
with
yeah.
the ice skate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'll
cool.
watch it.
Yeah, it's a cool kill scene. Yeah.
And then also what else do we watch?
Halloween 3.
Halloween 3, yeah.
Trick or Treat.
Yeah, we watch Trick or Treat typically on Halloween just for I think that's one people love or hate. Do you like Trick or Treat?
Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I liked it.
The old Trick or Treat's good too. From the
Oh
80s.
hell yeah. I like that one more. That's that one's
Didn't
awesome.
Wasp do the soundtrack to that one? Isn't that the No Wimps, No False Metal or something like that? If I remember right. It's really good.
I know there was some cheesy band that did a
think it
bunch
was
of
Wasp.
stuff, and then they had a couple, known bands on it too. I think,
Or
but
maybe
yeah, that was a
Fastway?
good.
Maybe it's Fastway.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah,
I
it might have
remember-
been.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah, Fastway. Irish band. Yeah. Actually, the singer, I believe, is in Flogging Molly, which a lot of people don't know that. 80s hair metal to, I guess, Irish.
Interesting.
The singer from Fastway
Yeah, yeah. He's the
is.
singer of Flogging Molly, I
Oh
believe.
shit!
Yeah. I know that guy. Yeah, I think same singer as the guy. Yeah.
No shit! I
think
didn't know
sings
that.
and plays guitar in Flogging Molly. Yeah, same dude.
I knew
That's-
You wouldn't think so. A lot of people don't.
No, you wouldn't know for sure.
Definitely completely different stylistically.
that.
Wow.
Personally, I'm more of a Fastway fan.
Yeah.
You know, what do you do?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there anything else that we
That's
watched?
crazy.
We would definitely watch the campy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Child's Play usually.
Oh, yeah.
That's one.
We watched
I mean,
Child's
we
Play
watch
all
a
year.
lot though, so it's kind of
Yeah.
We've been watching The Witch because it's been on.
yeah, that's been on.
I don't know if there's
Lots.
just mainly like we're big at Halloween.
Yeah, Fright Night.
Yeah.
just
Oh,
watched
Fright
that.
Night.
Oh,
Oh, Fright
classic.
Night for sure.
The remake was good too, but the
Wow.
original was one of my favorites.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat. That's why I didn't watch the remake just
Is
because
that the one with Colin Farrell?
yeah, Colin Farrell.
Okay,
The remake, yep.
that was way later. That was like 2007, 8-ish.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I haven't seen that one. No.
And
Well, it
then
wasn't bad, but it wasn't the first one.
Yeah. Crimson Peak's a good one.
that Evil Dead remake's been on,
It's
and we
2013
the
one.
2013 one.
That's
Did you see
really
that
good.
one?
It's
It's good.
another good remake. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that was really good. Like
Yeah.
almost like the first time I saw it, I almost had to turn the lights on. Like I
Yeah.
hadn't. It was actually pretty.
It was really
pretty
good. I mean, the original Evil Dead is amazing as well.
Classic, yeah.
Classic, But the remake was like, wow, they
Not
actually
much-
did a.
Not
but
much
this-
scares me in that one.
I don't know if the same guy. It was the same guy who did the remake, right?
Of Evil Dead? No.
It was
No, I
not.
don't think so.
Okay.
No.
But it was a good remake. That one's been on. We've been watching that.
Yeah.
So but we always try to watch the ones that scare us and the ones that are just cutesy. I try to watch the cutesy stuff earlier on to get me in the Halloween spirit,
Yeah.
and then watch the scarier stuff as it gets into October.
Then once you're all worn out and tired from doing all the shopping and getting in the spirit, and you're
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then
ready
my
to have
spirit
a
leaves my body.
Yeah.
ready to have a breakdown, then you watch the fucked up stuff and
Right.
let it ruin you. Yeah.
Exactly. Then I want something to like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
scare the crap out of me, for sure.
right.
I want my
Night of the Demons. That's a good
Night of the
one to
Demons.
watch.
That's a
Watch
fun
that.
one.
That's a
Yeah.
good one.
I like to
Yeah.
watch the staples, then I try to sprinkle a few new movies in too that I haven't seen.
Yeah,
That's
we
usually
watched my best friend's exorcism.
How was that?
One?
Keeps-
Okay, have you read the book?
No.
Oh my gosh, the book is so good. It's got the book's better than the movie. The movie was, I mean, it wasn't bad.
Okay. Yeah,
It
it was okay.
It was pretty good. It's kind of like 80s vibe, kind of comedy horror a little bit to it. And so it wasn't bad, but the book is just so good, especially if you like 80s horror. It just because the author just really like used a lot of 80s nostalgia. Lots of like the scares are really good and gross and like they're just good. And the movie was good.
It was good.
It
Yeah. But yeah, it was fine. I mean, it was
That's-
watchable. Wasn't the worst I've seen, but it wasn't the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It was fine.
The author
That's-
was live tweeting during the like premiere or whatever, and his commentary was pretty funny, like some 80s commentary, funny photos and stuff like that, like just nostalgia, pretty funny. But-
That's a good enough review for me. I'll definitely check that one out.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, with movies comes snacks, and obviously, based on your videos, you like candy. So, when you were a kid trick or treating, what was some of the favorite candy? What was the stuff you hope to find in your pillowcase or your bucket or whatever?
This is such a
Heart-shaped
good
Dum-Dums.
question. Yeah, no, heart shaped.
An old beer, yeah.
Yeah.
Old Valentine's candy. Okay, I liked the cherry flavored Tootsie Rolls and the vanilla ones.
Yes.
They're so
Yeah,
good.
they're good.
They're
Terrible.
so good. I feel
Those
like
are
if you know,
good.
you know.
No, well, I apparently missed out.
If
but
they
it's
were
not.
stale, no, absolutely not. They had to be fresh. So good. And then I'm trying to think of what else I just really loved those. I picked those. I'd pick them out and eat those first, and then I would try to trade with my brother. We would try to have a trade. I'm like, I'll give you a Reese's for that, and they were the smallest little candies, so it was hard because you're like, I don't get a lot, but it's good. I like the Starburst, and I like the sour sweet candies, but I also like chocolate, but I like the sour sweet stuff over that. What was
I lean more to the chocolate, like Reese's. I like Kit Kats. Like Nerds are good. I always like Nerds.
Yeah, the little box of Nerds, just one.
Oh yeah, the Nerds are so good. You could hear them from a mile away.
Yeah,
you know, Nerds.
This was good. Sometimes you'd get like these little like gummies too that were shaped as like insects.
Oh yeah.
Right. Oh yeah.
I didn't like.
I don't know if they make those anymore. Those were always pretty good.
I didn't like those as much, but yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, I'd say those probably.
What about your least favorite? Or were you gonna ask me my least favorite?
Cherry favorite Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah, let's hear the least favorite too.
No,
I like
those gross packaged weird. What were they, like peanut butter pecan? Like I don't know what they were. They were
Daddy, what was they called?
No, those were horrible too.
What's the Daddy?
No,
Daddios.
Something like that. Daddios.
Yeah,
the honey.
Daddy something. It had Daddy in it.
And they also had the
yellow
honey
package, right?
Yeah. And it was like red writing, right?
Yes.
And then polka dots or something.
I don't remember if it was polka dots. I don't think it had.
And then what was the other one? The honey bunches? No. It's like the honey.
Like the little bit of honey things.
Bit of
honey. Yeah, those suck.
Yeah. And also Whoppers are just.
Yeah, Whoppers.
I was just gonna say I hated Whoppers.
But my dad loved the Whoppers.
Yeah.
So I could easily convince him that he was getting a deal because, you know, he'd be like, can I have, a bite of your candy? And I'm like, yes, sir, you can. Actually, you can have all the Whoppers.
Yeah.
So he thought he was getting the deal of the century.
They're just like, I don't know, like little chocolate covered balls of sand or something. Like,
they were horrible.
I didn't like it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I do not like those at all.
No, horrible.
I always got disappointed because I love Twizzlers.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get the little Twizzlers at Halloween, it'd always be hard as hell. It'd always be so hard and you couldn't chew them. And I'd get excited, like, yeah, I got 50 Twizzlers. And then you can only chew like 3 of them.
Like chewing into it.
They're so good. And then when the pull and peels came out, I love a good pull and peel. But
pull and peels are good.
Later, and I like would do anything for those. But anyone who gave black licorice or whatever what were those things? The little bite, they're like purple and white covered.
Like the what are they called? They came in the box like the Mike and Nikes. What are they called? They're called like Good and Plenty's, I think.
Was
it Good and Plenty's?
So yeah.
Whatever they were the worst. I can't.
You don't like those?
You like those?
Yeah.
Those are good. You either love it or you hate it.
Yeah. Black licorice is just one of those things. But I couldn't.
Weird flavor, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do those. And then the dots were hit or miss. Sometimes I liked the dots and sometimes I didn't like the dots.
But you like root beer, right?
I love root beer.
Isn't black licorice and root beer is the same thing, right?
No, it's
anise.
No way.
I thought it was anise.
Really?
Yeah, the same like flavor, spice, or whatever.
I don't know, but I can't.
From, or root, whatever it's called. Yeah.
So that's.
Yeah, that's.
Cherry Tootsie Rolls.
We pretty much named all the candy.
Exactly.
Sour Patch Kids are always good too.
I got.
But we didn't have them when we were little, but.
Yeah, exactly. I got into those later, but the Sour Patch watermelons now are like my favorite candies.
Those are really good. Like I bought because we've been getting out with the show, trying to do like events and hang out at comic shops and set up a little booth. So I got like, bring the little bucket of candy and give it out to people. Yeah. But it's been sitting here next to my desk, and I'm supposed to be saving this candy for events, and
no dice.
It's getting low.
We bought 2 bags from Costco. Like, we're not going to eat this. And then we're like, great, here we go. We're going to go get more bags.
Or you have a bunch left over and you kind of have to eat it.
True. I know. That's what
or just save it. Just save it for next year.
Now I eat it and I'm like, maybe I should be giving this to the children, but I'm eating it instead.
So I always get catch shit from the lady for liking candy corn, which I know you like candy corn.
I love candy corn. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on candy corn, Dallas?
I love it. Yeah.
You
I
do?
like it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Particularly the pumpkin candy corn flavor stuff is really good too.
Yeah, but I feel like either I got old and my taste buds can't handle the pumpkins anymore,
Yeah,
or
no,
they changed the
I
taste.
like them. Yeah.
But when I was younger, I feel like they tasted different than they do now. But
Yeah.
maybe they don't. But I feel like
I think they
Some
are different.
brands aren't quite as good candy corn wise,
Mhm.
but
Just-
like, yeah, for the most part, it's good. Yeah.
Regular,
the
good old
harvest
fashioned,
Yeah.
regular, good old fashioned candy corn. It's
Yeah.
good.
Oh, yeah.
I don't need the little pumpkins in it. I don't
Yeah.
need the ones with the brown on it. I just need the yellow, orange, and
Regular.
white classic candy
Oh
corn.
man,
Yeah.
I love a good candy corn, and I love it even like a candy corn trail mix. It's also my favorite with some M&Ms, some cashew pieces.
There
It's
you
good.
go. You get a little protein in it, so it's good
Well, I
for you
guess
too.
it tastes like if you eat candy corn with peanuts, it's supposed to taste like a payday. Do you know that?
No, but I'm gonna
Yeah, I
have
think
to
it
try
does.
that now.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Fun little fact there.
But no, that's. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to test
Taste
that
test.
theory out.
Yeah.
And
wait.
good thing because candy corn's really cheap and peanuts are expensive, so it kind of
True.
Yeah.
balances out. You kind of stretch it
Yeah.
out a little bit. There you
Candy
go.
corn is so good though. People, I mean, some people are just like, it tastes like sugar. I'm like, I think that's the point.
Yeah.
It's good.
What do you want it to really taste like corn? You're eating candy. Like
Right.
It'd be horrible if it tastes like, it's like that. Oh, did you ever have the Jelly Bellies that were the buttered popcorn flavor?
yeah, those are odd.
They're really weird.
If I eat like a
don't know.
jelly bean kind of candy, I want to taste fruit. You
Yeah.
know, fruit flavor.
Same.
Don't give me black ones. Don't give me like the weird Harry Potter booger ones or
Oh, I
can't have
haven't
that, too.
tasted those, but
Oh,
Yeah.
I can
those
only
are-
imagine.
Some of those are pretty bad.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they come with some weird flavors with that stuff.
There was one, I think it was the butter popcorn that my cousin would try to sneak in. Like we go to FAO Schwartz, like on, like it'd be like during the holidays and all the parents would go shopping. So we go to FAO Schwartz and we were allowed to get a thing of Jelly Bellies or whatever. Like we'd fill them up. My cousin would get the butter popcorn, drop them in all of our, like he'd like sneak them to us. He'd be like, oh, tried this one. It's so good. And every time I'm like, oh, like it just was not my
Pretty much those candy stores now, that's like essentially all they are, right? It's
Hmm.
just like the jelly beans.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there was you had jelly beans. And remember, like, you used to be able to get these jawbreakers that were like,
Oh yeah.
like
Yeah.
the size of your head. Like that was really popular. In the middle, you get to something. I'm like, man,
I feel like
that was a big
jawbreakers.
deal in the probably 90s.
Yeah, I feel like jawbreakers were like a part of the culture at the time. Like
they
if
come on
you were
necklaces and you just like walk around for a month. Like, so it's like, man,
the whole concept
That's
is
gross,
disgusting.
yeah, it's terrible.
Because you would be like licking this thing for months, and like it would, you keep it like I keep mine in this little baggie. I'm like, this is horrible. Like whoever came up with this,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
disgusting. It's just like this drool, bag of drool.
It's a big, yeah.
I think maybe it was a thing that they made for like kids to strengthen our immune system or something. I don't know.
Clearly something. Yeah.
Probably. But you would like it would strive to get to the next color in the jawbreaker.
Mhm.
It's like I got to get through it. I don't know one person who got through a whole one.
Really?
Did you get one through one?
No, I never went through a whole one, but I know people did. Yeah.
I remember getting one that was like, like a size of like a tennis ball. I never got one that much bigger.
Yeah.
But I remember smashing it with a hammer,
Oh, that's pretty cool
Yeah.
though.
eating little pieces of it because I didn't have time to be.
I really tried. I was committed
Yeah.
to the process and I never made it through.
No. Cool. Well, we've held you guys up a while. Before we wrap it up, what are both of your probably favorite memory of Halloween?
Do you want to go first?
If you have one, I gotta think about that
I
a little
have
bit.
one. For sure, I have one.
Okay.
Cherry
Okay,
Tootsie
so-
Rolls.
I don't know. Yeah, that was good. No. I don't know if I don't know if I told this story last time. If I did, then I'll think of another one. Did I tell the story about how we had a haunted house that we did here? Like there was a haunted, like my neighbor, it was like a friend of ours who had this basement, a walkout basement. And it was completely unfinished. So it was just kind of this big cement room basically. And we decided to create a haunted house. Like the parents and the kids, we all did like pitched in to build this haunted house. And we were going to open it up to other kids who were trick-or-treating or whatever in the neighborhood. So we hung up these sheets for walls and had different rooms. We had the surgery room. So we had all the Twizzlers pull and peels with Jello, like for intestines, and they like pull out the Twizzlers and like, and kids would scream or whatever. And then you go into another room that was a vampire. And then you go to the final room, which was the witch with the cauldron. You have the cold spaghetti, and you stick your hands in, and then there's cold spaghetti, and then you get your candy. And then that was the haunted house. And my job was to, when they first came in, I had to like run my hands down the wall, so they could, it was kind of like jumping out at them or whatever.
Right.
Anyways, we all had a part in it, all the kids, all the parents, and we had lines down the neighborhood to get into this haunted house. And so we did it for a couple of years, and it's the best memory ever that we got to have a haunted house when we were kids and just full on Halloween night. Like we skipped a couple of years of trick-or-treating, or we go early and kind of get out of the way and then go a little bit later. But then like for most of it, we had built this whole haunted house and we were scaring people. It was so fun.
Should bring it back.
I know I should. Well, I think what's interesting is the same person was still living at that house. And I was like, man, I should just go over there and be like, hey, want to do it again this year? But they moved. And so I wish we had a walkout, because I totally do it. Because it's like you could just walk in from, totally different entrance from the house where you wouldn't even have to go in the house. And it was really.
I feel like a lot of houses have that.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like you'd be trick-or-treating and it wouldn't be unlikely to see at least 10 houses where you'd walk through the garage and have like a little
a haunted house
setup.
Or even like people would scare you from their porches. I remember there was always if somebody had a scarecrow on their porch, you never knew if it was a person or an actual just like a fake scarecrow. And
It's pretty wild back then. Like dudes would be dressed up and like jump out of trees onto you and stuff.
Yeah.
To a point you're like, man.
Or chase you around with chainsaws with no chain.
Right.
Like that was a thing too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like these days, times, like there's no way.
Yeah, that wouldn't fly.
No.
Okay, what's your
I can't remember. I mean, I don't actually remember a bad Halloween. So I'm just, I guess one thing I remember, not necessarily like my favorite Halloween or good thing, but I just remember one year my brother and I dressed up as like vampires, like we were Dracula, and we both had just like our costumes were kind of like just put together. We had like tuxedo shirts that we just had in general, so we wore those, but then we had these capes that we put on, the little snap. For some reason we used the capes for something else. I think we just thought they were cool and used them, and slicked our hair back and did the face thing. But there's one thing that stood out. Like I don't know if they make this, I'm sure they don't, but like I could like still taste it. The teeth were like wax.
Mm-hmm.
Like do you remember those? They were like these wax teeth.
Was it like with the lips?
They didn't go in, the
lips.
And they had the teeth. Basically you put it in your mouth and it was like the whole thing. And I just remembered that for some reason. That we both had the wax thing, and like the taste came when we were talking about that, and kind of all came together, and I was like, man, that tastes like shit. Like, who thought that was a good idea?
There was like a wax, they had lips, and then for Halloween they had the lips with the teeth.
And
it has like a little piece that you bite.
Yeah.
And I remember those, they were horrible.
Tastes terrible.
They did taste horrible. I don't even know why that was a thing.
Yeah. I just, for some reason, that came to my mind.
That and then the vampire teeth, the plastic ones that would cut up your gums.
The one that the little hinge.
Yeah, those were horrible too. Did you have a favorite Halloween costume?
That's the one that came to mind, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I did have the Freddy Krueger. I think it's probably in like late 80s, maybe, where you got the glove and it had the mask and the hat. Right. I'm sure those are collector's items today, but that was really cool. I don't think it came with the sweater though, but I did have a sweater like that. So I had a Freddy, and that was really cool at the time when they came out with that, the glove that came with it. That one was really cool.
You should have kept that.
I mean, I'm sure they're out there somewhere. It's got to be a collector's item, I would imagine. But that was a really cool costume.
What about you? Do you have a favorite Halloween costume?
I don't know about a favorite, but most of my memories were of the bad the plastic mask.
And
the little plastic outfit that would rip within the first 10 minutes and
spontaneously combust.
And the mask, you could barely breathe in it, so you're just like breathing and slobbering all over yourself in it, and it would just be nasty. But
Just like
You-
foggy.
still have the time of your life running around as a transformer or something.
Yes.
Did you always have the costume though? Because I remember like later on, like we would just like wear standard street clothes with just
Yeah.
a mask.
Eventually, we'd give
You know
up
what I
on
mean?
it. Yeah.
My brother did that too.
Yeah.
I was always weird stuff. Like I was one year as a cow.
A cow.
Like just like I borrowed my mom's cow costume because I didn't know what I wanted to be. And so I just decided to be a cow, and it had like the big udder and everything.
Right.
And it was big on me because I was, a kid and I'm wearing my mom's cow costume, but I really wanted to be this cow and they didn't have a kid's version. And then like it was just like dangling like that the udder was like down like on the ground. It was just like
That's
weird stuff like that, like weird. It was just weird.
But that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
It's always just weird shit. It sticks out more than. About this year, you guys dressing up this year? Got some costumes?
Well, we're invited. I don't know if you know, we're invited to my mom's Halloween party. I don't know. We're
Now he
invited.
knows. There you go.
I don't know what we're gonna be for that.
You usually dress up.
For my mom's party, she hands out trophies. And my mom is like total opposite. She loves decorating for Halloween, but she's total opposite in her decor style. Like she goes all out scary. Like the mirror talks to you when you go in the bathroom. The like things are jumping out at you. It's always things are hanging from the ceiling. Like everything's always scary there. But she does this big Halloween party where she hands out trophies. And so everyone thinks that she chooses me to win the trophy because I'm her daughter. And I'm like, no, I have to try harder because she doesn't want to give me the trophy because she doesn't want it to seem like I'm the one that wins. But so I try really hard. I think I did Maleficent one year. I did Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice. I did that was a different party, but yeah, I did Gremlin for a different party, and then I did a witch with like the full nose and green face and all that, and like a contact, which I didn't think that through because I had to drive to her house and I didn't know the contact would block my vision. So I was driving with one eye. And so yeah, but usually I try to win the trophy, so I try to go all out. But I really wanted to try out. I wanted to try to be the Crypt Keeper. Like I really wanted to go full prosthetic and like show up as the Crypt Keeper. But I don't know if I'm.
It'd be a hard one, yeah.
I know it would be hard.
That'd be
I have
work.
time to do that.
But I mean, you got to make sure you win your mom's contest. I
I
mean,
know.
how messed up would it be if your own mom gave the trophy to somebody that wasn't?
I know.
You,
Well,
right?
so she gets first, second, third. So other people do get trophies.
Most people's
but-
costumes are pretty lame though.
Is there like
I
a
know
little
people just go with, like-
participation ribbons or something?
Yeah, or they go as like, well, and it started, I think, being not fun because some people were like, well, if Jade's gonna win the trophy every year, we're just not gonna try. And I'm like, okay, well then maybe I'll just go as some, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to be like that, but also like
Or maybe
have to
everybody
look at
else should step up their game.
I know. I'm like,
Yeah.
come
Right?
on, people. Halloween competition. It's healthy, everybody. Let's get it. And then every year on Halloween, I dress as a witch to hand out candy to the kids. And
Right.
that's what I do for that every year. But yeah, I don't know what we're being for the party though. We should go as a group costume. Dallas isn't.
Do like a gender swap or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can be each other.
Yeah.
Look close
Oh,
enough.
yeah.
Like same hair color.
Right.
There you go. That would be. You should go as each other and just post pictures in the group.
Yeah.
People would eat that up in the group.
Yeah, exactly.
They would love to see Dallas as Jade.
Yeah, right.
That would be hilarious. You should go. Maybe we can get a wig.
Yeah.
Or just you can grow your hair a little longer.
Yeah, grow your hair out. You got 2 weeks. Grow your hair out real
Exactly.
fast.
Yeah, right.
Make it happen. Make it happen. We can get some extensions.
Miracle grow. There you go. Extensions will work.
No, that would be funny if you did, but no, I don't know what we'll
Yeah.
go
Sure.
as. You haven't gone in because usually he's working, so we haven't
Yep.
gone as a couple's costume.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. We'll put it in the
Think
group
about that,
maybe if we dress up. I don't know. The last couple of years for my mom's party, I've been kind of running around with my head cut off, so I've just been just dressing up as whatever. But also, it hasn't been as fun with everything. I was kind of just like wearing whatever mask or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I wore like a poodle mask one year or whatever. 'Cause I didn't know if anyone was even going to show up, and It just wasn't as fun.
Poodle mask.
Yeah, I remember.
Little
Yeah.
mask.
Oh,
It was just like I was looking
I
for
know
some
that.
sort of costume that I
Yeah.
could just like take on and take off real quick, you know? So I was like, a mask is fine. And so I found this weird dog. Okay, well, I don't know why I'm so weird. Like, I want to dress up as animals for Halloween, but here we are.
Bring
I
back the
revisited
cow.
my cow days, but this
Bring
time I
back
was
the cow.
cool.
Yeah.
In costumes.
I was a dog. I went in costume as a dog instead of a dog in a costume.
Right. There you go. Dress up as gnomes. Halloween gnomes.
Yeah, we should go as
Yeah.
gnomes.
Yeah.
That would
There's got to be costumes.
Oh my God. Oh,
that
wait.
would blow
There was
people's
there was a
mind.
Baja Blast costume this year.
There
And I kinda
was
wanna
what?
go
A
like
Baja
all the things
Blast.
this year.
There you go.
Like it was a Baja Blast.
Yeah.
That's what we should go as. I don't know if we'll win this year. I don't know if I'm going to go all out with it because I don't know. We'll see.
Usually during a party, like nobody really leaves the costume or their mask on the whole time. So it's just like
No.
you show
Yeah.
up, here I am, give me my prize. I'm gonna take it off and drink. Like
Yeah, like
Yeah.
exactly like the Edward Scissorhands costume. I eventually had to take off the scissors as hands. 'Cause it's
like how are you gonna have your Halloween snacks with scissors for hands?
exactly.
Maybe change it a
really
little
wasn't
bit.
conducive.
Change it to chopsticks.
Yeah.
It wasn't really helping the candy corn eating.
Oh
Right.
yeah. You could poke them one at a time.
Exactly. And they were horrible too. Like the scissors were like cardboard. And so it was even worse. I'm like, these are even more worthless. With actual scissors, at least I could try to stab something.
Right. Did
Like
you
a
make
food, not
did you
person.
make you made the hands yourself then?
No, I actually bought them, which is worse. Because they were just horrible. They were just like bendy cardboard.
They weren't even plastic. That's lame.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
that's
even
disappointing.
plastic.
That's a
Like
letdown.
painted cardboard is what it was. That's what I got.
Yeah.
So
Well, with that being said, before we wrap up here, is there anything you want to add to listeners or any special messages or anything?
oh, I hope everyone has a happy Halloween.
Yeah. Happy
And-
Halloween and be excellent to each other. She said Bill and Ted
Precisely.
earlier, so that can
Precisely.
That's a good
Had to
message.
drop a Bill
Should
and Ted
always
joke.
be excellent to each other.
Yeah.
So I
Think
guess just happy Halloween and enjoy your Halloween candy and
Stay away from the cherry Tootsie Rolls. They're the worst.
do not definitely. Oh yes, stay away from
If you
them.
get
Send them my way.
Valentine's
Send-
heart-shaped
yeah.
Dum-Dums, don't be mad. They're actually good. And
Don't eat the old
Put a lot of thought into 'em.
Valentine's candy.
yeah.
Don't do it.
That'll do it. Well, hey, thank you guys for hanging out. Happy Halloween to yous. And maybe we'll do this again next year.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. And happy Halloween. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
We love coming on here. So anytime.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys.
This is your hot horror hostess, Miss Misery of Miss Misery's Movie Massacre, wishing you all out there a happy Halloween.
All right, we are back on the Steven Crypto Show Halloween Spooktacular. We are your third favorite podcast with our first favorite holiday. Does that make sense? Our first favorite holiday, but
Yeah.
anyways,
It definitely ain't Thanksgiving.
it ain't Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's pretty cool though. There's like good food and football. I'm all for that. But
Now,
Let's
what
get-
if people combine the two holidays? Like, how would you feel if you went to somebody's door and they just like poured some gravy into your Halloween bag? Like, I'm taking care of two holidays. How would you feel?
that would probably I'd probably laugh at first,
Yeah.
and then I'd be pissed
And
off.
then you maybe cry a little bit.
I'd be
Like, I
like,
got
you-
hot turkey gravy on my Reese's.
Like, you fucked up my Twizzlers, bitch.
Like,
But,
here's some green bean casserole to go with your Twix bars.
Yep, that's disgusting. So we were just talking about movies before we got into the chat with Jade the Libra and Dallas. And now the Horror Host Hall of Famer, known as Lord Blood-Rah, is going to tell us about his favorite movies. If you know about horror hosts, the majority of them, run movies They host movies that are in the public domain. So Blood-Rah is going to tell us about his favorite movies to watch during the Halloween season that are in the public domain.
That means all of you should be able to find them.
Yeah, you can find them and watch them for free. So meet Lord. Well, you've met Lord Blood-Rah. He's been here. He's hung out with us.
That's right.
But check out this awesome little segment that he put together for us to share his favorites.
My lords and ladies, geeks, geekerellas, geekulas, and geekeritas, I am Lord Blood-Rah, host of Lord Blood-Rah's Nerve-Wracking Theater. And those two madmen, Steve and Crypto, have asked my advice on which films to watch to best get into the Halloween mood this season. Of course, there are thousands of films, both classic and less than classic, that will make you start craving pumpkin ale and the scent of latex masks, but I want to concentrate on and pay a little tribute to those films that are the bread and butter, the meat and gristle of the majority of horror host shows out there today. Public domain films. So, without further ado, here are 5 Frights for Free, my pick for the top 5 public domain films for Halloween. In the 5th spot is one of the weirdest films I have ever hosted, and that's saying something.
Daughter of Horror.
Yes, Daughter of Horror from 1955. This film, also known as Dementia, is essentially a nightmare put on film. The kind of nightmare you'd have after eating a dozen bad clams in Miami at midnight. There is no story, no plot, and mostly no dialogue. In fact,
not one word is spoken on the screen. The strangest motion picture you have ever seen.
The film follows a young woman who wanders the city streets.
Come with me into the tormented, haunted, half-lit night of the insane.
And in we go for the whole compact 54-minute run of this black and white phantasm. She runs into all sorts of sleazy, disreputable characters, and a faceless figure in a graveyard who leads her back through her memories to relive the abuses of her father and the neglect of her mother.
Yes, I am here, the demon who possesses your soul. Let me take you by the arm and show you the bed of evil you sprang from. Let me take you back to when you were a little girl.
Now that may make it sound like this is a psychological horror film, but it isn't. We don't dive deep into what makes this woman tick. This is all about the chilling, nightmarish, shadowy visuals. At number 5, Daughter of Horror. At number 4, it's a love letter to H.P. Lovecraft, Messiah of Evil.
And they're waiting. They're waiting for you. And they'll take you one by one, and no one will hear you scream. No one will hear you scream!
This 1973 film is about a young woman who goes looking for her father after his letters to her become increasingly more unhinged, warning of weird changes he's experiencing and the strange things happening in the seaside town he lives in, Point Doom.
I have little time now. I can't write again. But you mustn't worry. And please, you must promise not to follow me. I'm afraid to see people anymore. It's better that I wait alone for it to come.
When she arrives in Point Doom, the eerie events begin. She encounters a homeless old man with a dire warning.
What about my father? You have to kill him. You're crazy.
Can't bury him. Don't put him in the ground. You gotta burn him. You gotta put fire to his body.
A mysterious man traveling with two lovers in search of the strange stories told of the area.
Every race has their legends. The Romans, the Greeks, even the folk here in Point Dune had their stories. I'm interested in this story about the Blood Moon.
And ultimately, her father. I'll leave that little shock for you to discover. The pervading sense of an unstoppable and unexplainable evil overtaking the town is pure Lovecraftian horror. This is a public domain gem. At number 4, Messiah of Evil. In the number 3 spot is the slow-moving chiller
Carnival of Souls.
Carnival of Souls is not to everyone's taste. It's not a shock-per-minute thrill fest to make you jump and squirm. It's more like slowly descending into a bathtub of ice water. The macabre atmosphere washes over you as you enter its dreamy, dark world. The story concerns a young lady who is the only survivor of a car accident.
Hey, you want to drive, huh? Rev it up.
Soon after, she leaves the town and heads to Utah, but not alone. She is plagued by a strange, silent, pale-faced man in black.
Who's the man in the hole? There's nobody there.
And begins entering these fugue states in which she can't interact with the real world.
What's the matter with everyone? Why don't they answer me?
She also feels a strange attraction to an abandoned amusement pier, which, well, watch the film and you'll see. If you've ever watched an episode of The Twilight Zone, you can guess the end from the beginning of the film. But that's not the point of Carnival of Souls. It's the bleak and beautiful black and white imagery along the way. At number 3, Carnival of Souls. And at number 2,
White Zombie.
It's the very first zombie film and, in my opinion, Bela Lugosi's best performance, White Zombie.
Zombie! Allez!
That is the first utterance of the word zombie on film, as heard in this 1932 classic. These zombies are not the flesh eaters of George Romero's creation. These are the voodoo-created resurrected dead, used as slaves in a sugar plantation run by Lugosi's character, Murder Legendre.
This soul killer takes men from their graves to be his slaves.
A young couple soon to be married are lured to a Haitian plantation by a shady rich man intent on stealing the young lady away from her fiancé. To do this, he enlists Legendre's help, using a special potion to seemingly cause the young lady's death, then steal her body to resurrect her as his bride. Of course, Legendre has his own ideas.
You devil! What are you trying to do to me? I have other plans for Mademoiselle. I'm afraid might not agree.
This melodrama is a bit overwrought with some questionable acting, but Bela Lugosi's cold, cunning, and purely evil portrayal of the voodoo master Legendre makes this film a must-see. At number 2, White Zombie. And my pick for number 1,
this cannibal orgy is strange to behold and the maddest story ever told.
Well, Cannibal Orgy was the original title, or one of them, but the film was ultimately released as Spider Baby. And yes, that clip was from the title song, and again, yes, That was the star of the film, Lon Chaney Jr., singing the theme song.
Dreams and moans and bats and bones and teenage monsters and haunted homes, a ghost on the stair, a vampire's bite. Better beware, there's a full moon tonight.
That alone makes this film worth seeing, but the craziness does not stop there. The story involves the Mary family, who suffer from
the Mary syndrome, a progressive age regression beginning about the 10th year and continuing steadily throughout the victim's lifetime. It is believed that eventually the victim of the Mary syndrome may even regress beyond the prenatal level, reverting to a pre-human condition of savagery and cannibalism.
Lon Chaney Jr. plays the long-suffering caretaker of the family, Bruno, who looks after two girls, Elizabeth and the girl who loves playing Spider, Virginia.
I caught a big fat bug right in my spider web. And now the spider gets to give the bug a big sting.
A game with deadly results. Also in his charge is the older, therefore younger, in the logic of this film, brother of the two girls, Ralph, played by a very, very young exploitation staple, Sid Haig. This film is a less graphic and bloody forerunner of films like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and House of a Thousand Corpses, an oddball family with a penchant for killing. But the Mary family really just want to be left alone. The trouble starts when a distant relative comes to claim their house and kick Bruno and the children out. Not a smart move.
No, this isn't right. There are proper procedures.
For Halloween thrills and chills, with more than a dash of dark humor, my top recommendation is 1967's Spider Baby. Well, that's my list. I hope you check them out and enjoy them, or if you've already seen them, give them another watch in this Halloween season just to get your mind right for the frightful festivities to come. I'd also like to recommend my TV series, Lord Blood-Rah's Nerve-Wracking Theater, in which I host the best, worst, and wildest horror and science fiction films ever made. You can find the best ways to watch and stream the show at lordbloodrah.com. Also, check out my podcast, Lord Blood-Rah's Nerve-Wracking Auditorium, which features the best of old-time radio horror shows. Pure theater of the mind. Best listened to in the dark. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts or at anchor.fm/Lord Blood-Rah. I want to thank Steve and Crypto for letting me suggest a few of my favorite films to you, and I wish you all a very happy and a very creepy Halloween. As always, I am Lord Blood-Rah saying, geek out.
Hello, kiddies, boils and ghouls, ladies and mental men. It's your old friend Halloween Jack, and you're listening to the Steve and Crypto Halloween Special with my good friends, Steve and Crypto. And then when you're finished here, if you want more Halloween fun, you can stop over to the Monster Channel, where it's Halloween all the time. And that's at www.themonsterchannel.com. Happy Halloween, everyone!
And we are back. You are listening to our Halloween Spooktacular here on the Steve and Crypto Show, episode 97. We want to thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed that segment from Lord Blood-Rah. And now we have a little musical number from, who is that, Steve?
From the Destroyers. They're a spooky surf rock band from Seattle. They have their new album. It's called 10,000 Ways to Die on Hellhop Records. And they sent us a couple tracks to play in our episode. So we are going. Excuse me.
Well, shit, you coughed. I was going to cut you off, but you coughed. We were talking about this group before recording, and you were saying that, boy, it'd be fun to have them play in our neck of the woods. And that sounds like a great idea. Maybe we can make that happen down the road.
Let's work on it. And now that I'm done coughing, I'd like to introduce this first song from the Destroyers. It's called Ogre Island. So check it out. Let us know what you think. And then we'll be back later on with more from the Destroyers. Welcome back to the 2022 Steve & Crypto Show Halloween special. We're going to call it the special this time. I'm spooktacular out. We're the special now. I think Crypto is going to introduce this special guest that I'm honestly, personally surprised that we're even able to get this guy on the show.
Yeah, I agree.
So, who do we got?
Well, you and I are both lifelong horror fans, and I'm pretty sure this guy was in one of the early stepping stones towards solidifying us as horror fans.
His show was definitely one of the earliest introductions to monsters in general.
Yep. And I think a lot of people listening that also grew up being horror fans, this was probably an early the show this man was a part of was probably an early introduction for the horror genre. So we are very happy and honored to say Butch Patrick is the next one in line on the Steve & Crypto Show Halloween special. So enjoy our chat with the OG Eddie Munster, Butch Patrick.
Hey, horror and pop culture fans. This is actress Elise Costin from Interfere 2 and After Hours Cinema, and you are listening to the Steve & Crypto Show.
Hey, this is Tim.
This is Ainsley. And this is Rebecca. And we're the co-hosts of the One Dark Fright podcast, where we talk in depth about a horror movie every month from start to finish. Right now, you're listening to Steve and Crypto Zoo and the awesome Steve and Crypto Show.
When you're done listening to this episode, come check out the One Dark Fright podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and anywhere you fulfill your podcast needs. But now, let's get back to Steve and Crypto.
Hey, we are on the Steve and Crypto Show. This is the Halloween special, and our guest is nothing less than special. That sounds kind of bad, but our guest is an absolute icon and legend. He's an actor, you know, from Mr. Ed, The Monkees, General Hospital, My Favorite Martian. And I think he was on this little show that ran from 64 to 66 called The Munsters that you might have heard of. Honestly, if you guys listen to us, you know the Munsters. And we have Eddie himself. We have Mr. Butch Patrick here to join us for the Halloween episode. How you doing, Butch?
Hello, guys. How y'all?
Oh, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
This is always a special episode for us. Halloween's our favorite time of the year, so it's great that we got you here to chat for a bit.
Good. Looking forward to it.
So, I guess the talk of the internet at this moment is Rob Zombie's Monsters movie.
It really has been, even leading up to the, I believe it was September 27th, a week ago today, actually. The whole year leading up to it, boy, it was catching quite a buzz, and Rob was dropping little tidbits out and little trailers here, and you get little, Easter eggs of information. And then when it finally came out, it's been definitely a hot topic, and it's apparently number 1 and 2 on Amazon with horror and comedy and sales. So that's wonderful.
That's great.
That is good to hear. Good to hear. So yeah, it took a while before he came out and announced that you were playing the robot in the movie.
The Tin Can Man.
The Tin Can Man. Did you have to be on set for that, or did you just do a voice?
I did a voice in the studio in Los Angeles. He shot it over in Hungary. So yeah, I believe it was January of this year. I went in and knocked out the voiceover.
Now, how was that for Rob? I mean, were you able to kind of feel the excitement, for him, like actually getting to have someone from the original cast involved with this film?
Well, he and I, in December of 19, we went into the studio to do commentary for the Blu-ray release of Munster Go Home. And we sat in real time with Justin Beam from the Shout Factory as the moderator. And we spent the 90 minutes of the actual show talking, but we were there for, half an hour before, maybe an hour after, chatting and talking. And I had met him about 15 years ago, briefly, after a performance in Philadelphia, but we've never really got a chance to talk. But yeah, it was really a good afternoon. He's the right guy for the job. I know he had been, seeking out this project for 20 years from Universal, and he finally got his wish. And I think what he did is wonderful. I like it. I know from where he's coming. I know a lot of people, are very opinionated, about either if you're in his camp for his other style of movies, you feel it's a departure that you don't like, or if you're a purist with the original Munsters, you don't like the updated version. But literally, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, everybody's got one, right? But in my opinion, if everybody just left their other opinions at the door, if they were able to just look at it independently on its own merits and its own entertainment value, I think, and I believe that the most people who are giving their opinions on the internet, about 90% of the people are very happy with the results.
Yeah, I think it's a nice, or a really nice, like an homage to the original. And it felt really, it felt just like another in a series of like the made for TV Munsters movies. It felt like it belonged in that whole line.
Yeah, it was fun. I was happy with it when I saw it. I didn't really know what to expect. I like the look of it. I like the texture. I like the colors. I love the idea of him going after a love story between Herman and Lily, and Grandpa's resistance to the whole thing. Very similar to how Al Lewis was. How the family came to be, and he did it as a prequel. He came up with a new idea. Let's show how this all began in the old country and why they're now in the USA Heights, and they always made references to the old country. Well, let's give them a story of how they wound up leaving the old country.
I love how he even gave Spot a backstory.
That's what I was just about to say. That was one of my questions that I had in the back of my mind before watching it. Like, oh, I wonder if we're going to get to see Spot and how he became a member of the family. And sure enough.
You want to know, to be perfectly honest with you, I've only seen the first 15 minutes of it until Herman comes to life, because I promised my girlfriend that I would watch it with her. And so neither one of them next weekend. So I promised her, I said, we watched it. What I did is I was at a friend's house that was watching it. I put it on FaceTime, and I was FaceTiming her because she didn't see it. So we watched the first 15 minutes through my phone. And then when I put the phone down, I said, okay, I'll hold off on the rest of it. So I haven't actually seen that backstory you're talking about.
Oh, we spoiled it. We spoiled it.
That's all we'll say.
We spoiled the Munsters for an OG Munster.
I mean, I have seen a little bit of footage when I was in doing my deal. I know what my character was doing, and I know, what I did, but I haven't seen it in the final version. And I'm looking forward to it, because from what I saw up to that point was the slower setup of the whole thing. And I'm sure the pace gets a lot better now that they start courting and all the things. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the Sonny and Cher stuff and the little tidbits that I've seen that Rob's dropped out into the universe. I'm looking forward to it. I do know that he left it abruptly at the end, where there's definitely an opening for a sequel if he chooses to do so.
Well, I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
So does this mean, are you gonna put out a video or something after you watch it and give your own review?
Or probably yeah. So. I'm actually going to a screening tomorrow night in the park down at Winchester, Tennessee. And again, I will, I'll have to watch it up to that point and then remove myself.
Right. 15 minutes. Yep.
You're going to hear about it later if you don't.
No, I'm enjoying the fact that I've been so busy and preoccupied with other stuff that it really hasn't weighed heavily on me. And it's kind of neat that I know that it's sitting in the wings, and I'll get to it very soon. So it gives me something to look forward to.
Yeah. Are you getting feedback online, at least for people who have watched it and saying like, oh, I saw your part?
Yeah. And the thing it's social media, there's, it's a wonderful thing for some people. It really is. I get it. But, there's a lot to be said about it. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say nothing at all. And for someone who they don't make movies and they don't do the editing, they don't know what goes into making a movie. And some people are just kind of like mean-spirited in their responses without really through. And it's just like, for what purpose does that statement have to be made sometimes if you just look back and look at it? And I think people have gotten a little bit, and Mike Tyson pretty much summed it up when he said, people have gotten really comfortable hiding behind their keyboards and saying shit they wouldn't say to your face.
Yeah. I think you saw that video of him on the plane, right?
Yes.
That was perfect. I mean, we've talked about this so many times on the show about how just people are so comfortable running their mouths without consequence.
There's a lot of negativity in the world in anyway. I mean, I understand that it's easy to slip into it. I got it. I really try not to. I always try to take the high road whenever possible, which is pretty much all the time. And I just don't, I don't really get into it on social media because it's like it serves no purpose, and you're just opening up a can of worms for people to respond to. So I just don't get involved. I just go dark and stay silent. And
that's a good way to look at it.
I say something positive, and if I don't have anything positive to say, that leads to no good, because honestly, if you put something out there, people don't like it. They feel that they've got this entitlement that they can just enter into a debate with you, and they don't even know you. And it's like, sometimes they don't understand that I've got like a lot of people, like I say one thing, or I'll say hello sometime to somebody just out of courtesy and out of being polite. And all of a sudden they seem that that's an opening to where now we're going to have a lengthy conversation about things, when literally I was just trying to be, this social media with huge amounts of fans and stuff. You try to be polite and you try to engage briefly. And sometimes it's impossible to get out of it once you start.
Yeah.
Great way.
Yeah. They'll try to suck you in. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it seems like
that's why I don't even go there. I very rarely go there.
See, that's why I think it's cool that you've launched the All Things Munsters stuff, right? Because it kind of it lets people in. You kind of let people know what's going on, and you say hello to everybody, and you know what I mean?
What I'm doing after I'm done with you guys, I am actually doing an interview with a new younger person his name is Britton. He was the runner-up on The Voice in season 14. He's a 22-year-old guy. He loves the Munsters. He loves social media. He's very good at it. And my sister, who is a little younger than me, she's been handling my social media. So what I told them was, I go, look, I understand the value of it. I'm not good at it. I don't like it. What I'm good at is I go to my events. I drive around the country. I'm good at meeting people, but let me do what I do, and I'll be like the roaming reporter, out on the road. You guys figure out a way to run with the All Things Munster. I'll supply some content for you, but I really want to hand it off to someone that does it better than I do, and I don't really want to do it. It's not my strength. So I'm trying to let them do what they do and tell me what needs to be done, and I'll do it. But as far as being the motivation behind it, that's really not what I do. So we're going to try a new wrinkle here, and it's going to be for All Things Munster. So that's why I wanted to plug that.
Okay.
Well, it seems like your strength is more in person, and hey, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that, and people probably appreciate that anyways.
Well, you gotta know what your strengths are, and nobody's good at everything, and that's okay. And my ego is fine right where I'm at. So we're going to try it this way. And if he can, run with it, and like I say, I can get a lot of really famous people to participate, because I've met a lot of people, and they all like Eddie Munster, and they like the Munsters, but I'm just not the guy to make that happen. But I'm willing to be part of the team.
Right. So we mentioned Rob and stuff, and ties with musicians. Are you still playing music at all?
Well, no, and I'll tell you why. Honestly, I was never really that good at it. We were a studio band, and I had a bass, and my bass was usually really for me as kind of a therapy to wind down at the end of the day. I would just enjoy just strumming it and plucking it and having a good time. I never really gave it the attention it required to become a really good bass player. I was more of just a hobbyist. I kind of played lead on bass, which was I was following sort of like a McCartney thing. He wasn't a typical bass player. He was originally a guitar, lead guitar player, and they switched him to bass. So I never really gave it the old college try, and never learned bass theory the way I should have. So no, but I am thinking about picking up some drums though. I like the idea of the drums because it's fun. I've always wanted to beat on the drums, and it would be a good exercise.
I'm a drummer, been doing it all my life. Yeah, highly recommend it. Give it a shot.
Yeah, and I've got a perfect place to do it where it won't bother anybody. And so they offered me a free kit. I think I'm going to take them up on it and just replace the bass with the drum, and just have something to play. And honestly, it would be good for me to learn a couple of songs on the drums. That way, when you're out and somebody wants you to sit in, and you can actually say, "Okay, let's play this," and you can get up, and embarrass yourself, and you participate. And it's like kind of with golf. I get invited to golf tournaments all the time, and I don't really play golf. I have golf clubs, but I don't play it. But it would be good for me just to be able to go somewhere and have some fun and not embarrass myself.
Yeah, as long as you have that good eye contact with the guys you're jamming with, you'll be okay. You've probably played with enough people to know that.
Yeah, and honestly, the bass and the drums, they were always pretty much, sort of like the similar kind of backbeat in a band anyway. So if you like the bass, I'm pretty sure I'll like the drums.
Yeah. So I noticed, speaking of music, I noticed that you did something with John 5. You did a little like a video short. Can you tell us about that?
Well, John's he's a big Munsters fan as well, and he's a great guy. But he reached out to me about something about Kiss, and I did something. I can't exactly remember what it was on the Kiss thing. And then he told me that he's got this new I Am John 5 cartoon video being done, this rock video, the cartoon characters, and he wanted me to be part of it. And so it was funny at the end of it. I became I'll look at you, John 5. I'm overwork anyway, and that was my little stab at it. But it was fun.
That's cool.
So, in the original series, of course, people want to hear a little bit about that. How was the relationships with the other cast? Did you have any relationships? I mean, you were obviously a lot younger, so it was probably weird to have relationships with your grown-up castmates. But
the thing about that for me is a lot of things came. It was like a magical 2-year situation, and it took a special thing to even get me the part. I wasn't even living in Hollywood. I had finished the Real McCoys and gone with my grandmother to live in the Midwest. My married a baseball player that got traded to the East Coast from the Los Angeles Angels. He went to the Washington Senators. So they all went east. My brothers were both very, very young, and my sister was like 5, and I was like 10. So I went with grandma. It was just the easiest thing to do. So Billy back then, Bill today, was offered the part, and he turned it down due to the makeup situation. His mom was not crazy about that, or he wasn't, but whatever. He said no. They then hired for the pilot, Joan Marshall played a character named Phoebe, and they had a kid named Happy Nate Derman did the Eddie. And the network saw the pilot. They green-lighted the pilot. They said, we will move forward with this, but we want to change the mom and the kid. And when my agent caught wind of that, she contacted them and said, I've got the perfect kid for you to play Eddie. And they go, oh, we've looked at every kid in Hollywood. And she goes, well, that's the whole key. He's not in Hollywood. He's in Illinois. And they showed, I guess they looked at some of my footage from the Real McCoys or something else that I had done. And they agreed to fly me out for a screen test. Now, here I am, I'm just turning 11 years old. So to get flown out and go directly to the studio and test with Yvonne DiCarlo, that's a pretty unusual situation. That doesn't happen very often. And it's worked out. So now they hire me, but I don't have any family in California other than my uncle. So we have to hire someone. I move in with my uncle. We hire a woman that takes me to work every day. It's a pretty hectic schedule. But where I'm leading in this is my TV family actually became my real family because I was spending more time with them because my family was on the East Coast. So one of the secrets, in my opinion, one of the reasons the show was so darn good and so believable is even with all the makeup and all the special effects, the unit, the family, the Fred and Al and Lily, Yvonne, it came off as a real family. They actually were believable as a family unit that you would buy into, that the day-to-day trials and tribulations, very, very similar to Leave It to Beaver, who produced the producers that had done the Munsters did Leave It to Beaver for 6 years. So they had a very good track record of making this family unit functional thing work really well. And then you never even thought about Fred and Al being Herman and being Frankenstein and Dracula. You thought of them as Grandpa and Herman. It just worked perfectly, and it was magic. And it was a one-of-a-kind show. And in 60 years and 70 years of television programming, it's a one-of-a-kind.
That's true. Like, you almost do look past that they are monsters.
Yeah.
Until there's like the moments when, the neighbor knocks at the door and gets the shit scared out of them or something. You forget about that because it is like family.
It's everything that was good about America back in the 60s. Everything, you watched it, sure, you watched Talking Horses and Martians and Genies and Witches, and there was a lot of great things that were non-reality based. But the Munsters was a functioning family unit with great sets and great guest stars and good writing and good acting. It was very believed. Fred and Al were a very funny comedy team, and they did a lot of good stuff in that show. And it didn't have a weak link. It was solid from top to bottom. And I think that's what really made it stand out was the quality. It was just all good. And then the fact that Universal Studios was the monster studio where everything, in the early 30s to the late 40s, they were the go-to monster studio. They made all the gold standard Draculas and Frankensteins and Wolfmans and, leading up to the Mummy and then the Creature. That was the monster studio. And they utilized that sets and the lighting and the movie style and the camera angles were all reminiscent of the films of the past that people like so much, and it worked.
Yeah. So were you a fan of all that stuff as a kid?
I was building those Aurora models with the best of them. Absolutely.
Very cool. So are there any stories from set or anything that has really stuck with you over the years?
When I finished my book, Munster Memories, the editor said, okay, I brought in as many people that were on the show to give their chapters. And I had Mike Westmore and I had Bill Mumy and George Barris. And, so I had makeup in the cars and guest stars. But when he asked me about what my favorite memory was, there was some good stuff. The cars being utilized was fun. I always liked riding around in the Munster coach, and we did some parades and we did some circuses and we did some personal appearance stuff. But my favorite thing to do, what was magical to me, was the Munsters was my job. and going into the studio gates, it was kind of a magical place. And, yeah, it was work and yeah, it was school, but you're still somewhere the average person has never been and isn't allowed in. So it's like a special cool club. And what I would do when I had free time and I could look at my call sheet and I'd say, oh, I can see that I'm going to have a couple hours right here in the middle of the day. Can I go out, and you didn't have cell phones or beepers back then. So you would get permission and you would go, and I would go explore the Universal Studio. That was what my main thing to do was to go see a big soundstage be cleared out and let them start building and wonder what they're building and what's going to be shot there, and go see McHale's Navy's Lagoon and see Ernie and Tim Conway, or go see my uncle who supplied horses to Wagon Train or the Virginian, or go up to the Mike Westmore's lab and see what he was creating for Alfred Hitchcock. And it was just magical. And I had free reign of this studio for a couple of years. And that's what the young boys like to do, is they like to explore. And I had this really, really great, this gold standard place to be exploring.
I think that's what we would do if we were on the set.
Yeah, I would be like a big kid. Yeah.
When I was a kid at home, I go looking for the construction sites, to go poke around. And that's what was going on back then. Or if there's, a pile of dirt somewhere, you jump off the roof into the sand. And, that's to ride your bike to a place you're not supposed to go, into the swamp, or, just get into exploring, go, do things that kids today don't have a clue about. It's just a different world. And in addition to me being in the 60s, imagine being at a studio with that kind of, the option to do that.
Right. How did you balance that from, like education and stuff as a child star in school?
Anytime you're working in the industry, you have to go to school 3 hours a day. It's the mandatory, no way around situation. And they're very, very strict about it. So during my typical day would be reporting for work at usually 8 to 8:30, and get directly to makeup, get into makeup, be prepared on the set between 9 and 9, and go into school. And they would try to get an hour and a half of school in to get half of it knocked out before lunch. But sometimes if you're shooting in the morning, then you just got to go directly to work, and then they try to get it knocked out after lunch. But 3 hours of school, an hour of makeup, and an hour for lunch, that's 5 hours right there. Then you get an hour of recreation to yourself. That's 6 hours. So that only really leaves like 2 to 3 hours left over for filming. So what they would do is whenever there would be a big script featuring Eddie, they would put that on the back burner until summer vacation when there wasn't no school. And that way an extra 3 hours. So now they had 6 hours of potential time to put you in front of the camera.
Right. So there was some kids out there that was in class with Eddie Munster.
The only time I was the only kid on the lot regularly, the only time there would ever be any other kids at all on the lot would be if they were a guest star on the Munsters. There really wasn't any other shows that featured kids other than the Munsters occasionally.
Right. Now, did you, I'm sure you probably watched the whole series back a ton of times.
Yeah.
Did you have your own personal favorite episode?
Oh, I got several.
It's like asking who's your favorite kid, but yeah.
There's three. The three that I usually mention are Zombo, Eddie's nickname, and the Hot Rod Herman. But there's a lot of other really good ones. Come Back to Little Googie with Bill Mooney was a good one. The House Divided, was good. Herman the Rookie, Country Club Munster. A lot of the ones where Fred would be trying to not disappoint Eddie. Eddie would volunteer him for stuff, and like the Masked Marvel, Herman, the wrestler. He was Herman the Great.
That's a good one.
He was a wrestler. Yeah, there's actually a lot of really good episodes. There really are.
So you mentioned Fred. I wanted to mention just a little tie to our town. Talking with my uncle, who also goes by the name Butch, he was telling me that Fred Gwynn's stand-in actually lived up here in Port Townsend, Washington, or at least spent some time here for a little while. Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah.
That's his name. He was also an singer, country singer, Jefferson County, and his stuntman. He was a stand-in and his stuntman and a singer. Nice guy.
Have you ever been up in this area?
Where are you guys at?
We are Port Townsend, Washington.
What part of Washington?
Port Townsend. It's up on the Olympic Peninsula. kind of
about 2 hours north of Seattle.
Spokane. I've been to Bremerton. I've been to Seattle. My family, I have family in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Okay. I was born in Bremerton.
We're pretty close to Bremerton, not too far. Yeah.
Idaho, right? You're on the western side of Washington?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then, you're near, Bremerton then,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
40 minutes, 40-minute ride from Bremerton.
Taking the cross, you bet.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking about your cars. I know that you travel around with them. Have you ever been up this way to Seattle Crypticon? Because I would love to see those cars out there in the parking lot.
I was actually thinking, I've done the Portland Motor Mania. I think it was a Portland Hot Rod Rodder show. It's been years, a long time ago. But on the West Coast, because I would have to go out to the West Coast and spend at least a month to do several shows up and down the coast to make it worth my while.
Yeah.
But yeah, recently it's funny. I did a show in Vegas, and I went to LA. I picked up my stuff, drove to Vegas, and then drove up to Yellowstone. My sister had never been to Yellowstone, although it was snowing, and I almost got snowed in. We went up that far, then I ducked across I was heading to Fargo, was my destination.
Okay.
But yeah, we should talk about, if you can talk to some people up there, if I could figure out a way to hit 3 or 4 spots in the Northwest, I'd love to do it.
Yeah. We could definitely something we could touch on later on. We could discuss. I know a few people up here that do they do a big car show and stuff. It would be kind of a cool.
Yeah, you mentioned Crypticon, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I've done Crypticon before. I can't remember the gentleman's name. I got it in my phone somewhere. But yeah, Crypticon's good. The problem that I have or people have is they don't really want to pony up there's a lot of travel expenses incurred on the car, and diesel fuels are sky high right now. And they can get other celebrities that only take up one table space, an 8-foot table, where when I show up with my car, not only do I take up about 60 foot of space. Now, if they got a big enough venue, it's great. It all depends. But under the right circumstances, I'm just a pricey package to bring in, because I bring I have a different situation.
Yeah, you show up with more than a stack of photos. You got a couple vehicles, some photos, a bunch of merch. Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for the song "The Load In" by Jackson Browne now.
Right. So I know we're cutting close on time, and
we're good.
We're good. Okay, good.
I'll go another 10.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, since this is our Halloween episode, are you into Halloween yourself?
I've always enjoyed Halloween. I think it's a very interesting, one of the weird situations that has occurred in my life is, when I was growing up, it was one night a year trick-or-treating. And then the Munsters was the first family of fright. And then about 1980, they started expanding Halloween into these Comic-Cons and these conventions of horror and stuff. And pretty soon it became a week, then it became 2 weeks, then it became a month, and the spirit stores and the Halloween Expresses and the Walmart, it started coming out that after Labor Day, Halloween stuff started exploding on the shelves. It became, now today it's the second biggest holiday next to Christmas for people of a disposable income. And, it's a phenomenon. And it's funny what I'm doing next year. I'm living in Arkansas now. I went down there for business and really liked it. But the land, there's so much abundant land down there, and there's really no big haunted attraction around where I'm at. And I've got some good partners now. So I am basically developing and opening my own haunted attraction next year. And I've had 2 in the past. I had one in St. Pete Beach back in the 90s that was a little hotel right on the ocean that was going to be demolished, that I knew the owner, and he let me go crazy with it before he demolished it. And that was fun, and I really learned a lot there. But I know the people who've always opened Spooky World and Randy Bates with the Bates Motel and the Pennhurst Asylum. I've appeared, and I know pretty much everything there is to know about the haunted industry, but I don't know. I have friends that do know. So I'm comfortable entering into this arena, but I'm going to have my own haunted attraction. But what I'm really excited about is the centerpiece of it that's going to lead off to the hayride and lead off to the maze and lead off to the haunted trailer is going to be a front of the Munsters house with my Munster coach and Dragula parked out in front. You'll walk as if you're walking into the front door of the back lot of Universal. And when you open the 2 doors and go through it, you're going to enter into stage 32, 1965. It's going to be an exact replica of the Munster soundstage, or at least we're not going to build a 60-foot tall giant soundstage, but we are going to have a dress set and a dress living room and a dress a dungeon and laboratory, but we'll have the depth for projection that makes it look like, what it looked like. And then what I'm excited about when going back to the Halloween thing is I'm going to show people the Universal monsters and how they were the starting point for all of this stuff that we do today of horror movies and horror genre, all started at Universal Studios with Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, and all this stuff, which led to the Munsters, which segues me into it, and then leads to everything else. And I'm going to call it a mausoleum. Instead of a museum and a mausoleum, it's going to be a museum. It's going to be the history of the monster genre. So it'll also be educational, and we'll show some great clips. And I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be super successful, super fun, and super educational.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
You're going to do that down in Arkansas?
That's my project for the next year. I've already decided. I've got everything I need. I'm still going to be touring next year off and on, but my main focus will be next year. I will be, hands-on there. I want to do where I'm going to create a green screen situation where people can actually do a screen test in the Munsters living room or in the laboratory, and they can take it home and we can videotape them and I can direct them. And, I really want them to experience what it was like for me. And I think people really love it, because when I'm at my table, people come up and they talk about the show as if like I'm their friend, that they grew up with me and I was in their house, and they love it, or they have fond memories of someone that they love that they watched it with that's no longer with them. So it's very interesting how this positive energy flow has always kept me very happy to be meeting people and never getting tired of it. And I enjoy the road trips, but there's a unique magic with the month that I think I'm going to try to capture it. I'm not trying to get lightning in a bottle again, but I'm just trying to share what it was like more so in person, as opposed to talking about it. Let me create something that they can actually see it.
I think people connected with you, especially because a lot of us were watching the show when we were little kids, so like you were, even though the whole cast was funny, you were kind of the main character that a lot of us connected with, related to.
Well, what happened, I was very lucky. They used to call me, nowadays it's not appropriate, but they used to call me a 39-year-old midget, where today you'd say a little person. Right. But and the joke was, they said that because I was 11 and 12, but I was mentally about 18 and I was physically about 9. So what they did is they started writing scripts that featured me and Fred, where I was the student and then he was the teacher, and then we would reverse roles to where I became the adult and he became the student. And they noticed that I could handle a lot of dialogue, so they started writing scripts that featured Eddie, where a lot of times in series the kid never really gets to the equal level of being a member of the cast, where I was lucky that I was able to achieve that level to where there's a lot of Eddie episodes, and I had a strong character, and it started off not that way, but they saw that it was something they could do, and they worked with me, and I wound up having a pretty good relationship with the whole cast as an equal.
That's cool that you point that out, because you're right. Like if I think about 90s sitcoms that I watched, a lot of them, the kid comes in and they have the little catchphrase and then they run off, and they get the laugh or two, but you had a lot more.
I did the first year of General Hospital, and that's exactly what it was. It would be, the door would open, Dr. Hardy would carry me in, I'd have a pen, I'd been at the ball game, he would set me down, and his love interest, my mom, would say, "Oh, how was the day?" And he would be great. "Oh, thanks, Timmy," and off I would run. And that was a scene setup, and now get the kid out of the way, and let's go, let's really do something.
So you already had a little experience with that, at least, but it was nice that you had like just as much dialogue as everybody else on the Munsters.
No, it was great, and I appreciated it. And it's kind of like when I did the Monkeys Christmas episode, I would have been happy to be there for an hour, but I got lucky that the episode that I did was a Christmas episode where they were hired to babysit me, and I was a very adult-like little genius computer rich kid, and I worked with them for 3 days. As literally there was like 5 of us in every scene. So it was just me and the Monkeys for a whole week. And it was like, wow, this is like really cool. And it was much more than just a brief experience. It was like, I'm still friends with Mickey, and I was still friends with Peter, and I was still friends with Davey. Well, not so much Davey. He was nice to me, but I was friends with Peter and Mickey. Mike, not so much, because he kind of went off on his own anyway. But that was a big week for me, because it was like, wow, not only did I get the chance to do the Monkeys episode, I was like equal, partner in crime for the whole 3 days.
You're equal, and you made, lasting relationships that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I was a 14-year-old kid. The Monkeys were like as big as the Beatles. And it was really, I might as well have been working with the Beatles for as much as it meant to me at that time. That's how big the show was. And it was early in the season. They were at the top of their game, and it was just, they were hits on the radio, and they had a hit TV show, and they were the cat's meow. It was big.
How many times did you personally encounter a celebrity that had you kind of a little starstruck, but then they met you and was like, oh my God, it's Eddie Munster, and they were hyped about it?
Well, that's one of the things that we're working on, because I never really was very comfortable in my own skin being a celebrity. It wasn't really, I went to great lengths to try to be accepted as a regular guy back home. I lived 30 miles from the studio. I was the first one to buy the case of beer and go to the gas station and work on my car. I mean, I really was not an actor. I was a kid who could handle dialogue, and I was making money to maybe become a race car driver or own a funny car. That was my, that's what I wanted to do. But things got a little crazy back in the 60s and 70s, but I was never comfortable in my own skin. And today I told the kid that, the guy that's going to be doing this All Things Munster, I said, I've never been comfortable about promoting myself. I mean, I understand it. It's people, some people like to do it, hiring a publicist to say nice things about you. It's like, it's not what I do, and it's not what I'm comfortable with doing, but I understand I have to play a part of this. So I can do a lot for you. I can get a lot of celebrities that I know personally that will help us out. And the funny thing is, if we present a good show, I guarantee you, if you go and you present an offer to probably any reasonable celebrity, and you say, I only need 15 minutes of your time, and here's the show, and they can watch it, they can see it's well produced, I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of people that won't allow themselves to be interviewed that has something to do with Eddie Munster.
Right.
That's what I told. So I think we can get people. I don't think we'll get turned down very often. And that's what I'm looking forward to, because, the Rob Zombies and the Howard Sterns and the McCartneys and the Alice Coopers and stuff. It's funny if you present them, hey, there's a new show, All Things Munster, and Butch Patrick, Eddie Munster, bunch you on it, and it's being done and by these people, and they see it's positive, and you got numbers, and it's good for business. Everybody's looking for content. It's like my Munster coach, Munster Uber. I was driving people and Mick Foley, and I go to conventions, I tell people the car ride, you want to ride in the Munster coach? Who the hell says no to that?
Right.
Yeah. Right. I see that. I saw the joy that you brought to Danny Roebuck when you drove him around in the coach. I love that guy. We had him on a little while back, and he is one of the nicest.
He was so fun to talk to. Yeah.
Got legs. I know that. I'm just not the guy to be the point man. I'll be the great sidekick. I'll be there. I'll do my part, but someone else has to take it and run with it. And
yeah. Well, hey, boy, run. Do you want to plug anything real quick? Did you want to plug the All Things Munsters or one more time before we roll?
Instagram, All Things Munsters, or you go to the official Munsters fan group on Facebook, and I have my own Facebook, 2 Facebook pages. You'll find me. Munsters.com is a good place to start everything, because my schedule, my store, merch, and everything's there, and just communicate through those avenues, and we'll be fine. And hopefully, if you ever make it, keep an eye on my schedule. I travel a lot, as like the Monkeys would say, hey, I might be coming to your town.
Awesome. Well, Butch, thank you for joining us on the
Thank
Steve and Crypto Show.
Thanks, buddy. Take care, guys.
Good evening, my victims. It is I, Malvolia, the Queen of Screams. You can see all my latest episodes on YouTube. And now you're listening to the Steve and Crypto Show.
And we're back. We are here on the Spooktacular special of the Steve and Crypto Show. I'm combining it, man. It's the Spooktacular special, Steve and Crypto special.
Well, that one, at least you're combining it and not rhyming. So that's good. That's good. We're keeping.
Wasn't that a little bit of a rhyme right there? At least you're combining and you're not rhyming. Yeah. You
Damn
threw
it.
that in. You've been wanting to.
That was my trick and treat for you guys. You're
Off
welcome.
mic, he's been telling me, he's like, I need to find a way to fit a rhyme into one of these episodes.
Get him. Yeah.
I'm gonna spit some hot fire.
All right. I don't got the rhymes, but I do have some trivia. And this trivia is gonna be, as to all the other trivia, it's gonna be easy because we want you guys to interact with us. And so send us the answer. If you know the answer, send it to us. And with this one, we are going to be doing a giveaway to coincide with the show. So if you know the trivia answer, send it to CryptoZoo88 or the Steve Strout on Twitter or Instagram. Or if you know us on Facebook, send it to us on Facebook. So send us the answer, and we will take your name and put it in a drawing for a special prize pack that we're working on. We're going to have some stuff from the Destroyers. We have a copy of the new Monsters movie, which we talked about earlier. We have a autographed picture from the horror host Hall of Famer Lord Blood-Rah, and there might be more coming. So you can count on that. So yeah, answer the trivia question, send us the answer, get your name in there. Another way you can enter, of course, is to share the episode a bunch. Just be sure to tag us so we can see that you shared it. All right, you guys ready for trivia?
Let's do it.
This one's super easy. If you don't get this, then you're only getting tricks and no treats in your in your Halloween bag.
So you're getting hot turkey gravy in your bag.
Ew, gross. Okay, ready for that trivia? So, which franchise has the most sequels? Puppet Master or Child's Play? One more time. Which franchise has the most sequels? Puppet Master or Child's Play? So you know what to do. Send us the answer. Get your name on the list for the drawing. This prize pack is going to be fucking awesome. Do it. Share the show.
Let us know if you want cranberry sauce in your prize pack or stuffing. You gotta.
You're gonna offer us, and some weirdo is gonna get the prize pack and be like, "Where the fuck is my cranberry sauce? You promised me cranberry sauce.
Where's my hot gravy?"
That's on you. That's on you. If you don't get your fixins, if you don't get your plate fixins, that shit is on CryptoZoo.
He's like, I was promised sweet potatoes.
CryptoZoo88 is your guy with the fixins. So. So there you go. There you have it. Send us the answer and share the show and all that good stuff.
Tag your friends that love horror. Please let them know we got this show going on. We just want to entertain you. We don't take ourselves seriously over here. We just like to entertain.
I do. You just like to put fucking Thanksgiving fucking fixins in people's jack-o'-lantern bucket. But I'm serious. I'm a serious guy. I've never talked about Boogersaurus. I've never made a poop joke in my life. And I've never...
You've never taken a photo while sitting on the toilet?
Never. I'll tell you a funny story before we...
It wouldn't be an episode without like a goofy poop joke or something, right?
Before we say goodnight and wish everybody a happy and safe Halloween, I'll tell you the story real fast. I was at a convention, and they had a little thing in like their main panel hall. They had big screens up, and they were like, post your pictures from the show and hashtag so-and-so, and maybe you'll get up on the big screen. So I was like, okay, let me see what picture I come up with. So I feel like I've told you this story, but so I did this thing. Oh, I don't know why, but people, I was known for a while, and and I called it my con poop selfies. And I would take pictures of myself sitting on the toilet. No, I wouldn't show like bits and pieces or poop or anything. It would just have made, I'd be smiling with like a thumbs up. And I would just, con poop selfie. Like
but clearly that you're in a stall.
Yeah, you can see like the roll of toilet paper on the shelf behind me. Like it was clear where I was. And I've actually made
picture
friends.
of you passing a square or two to the guy next to you to show that you're a nice guy.
I've actually made friends because of this. I've met like our friend Greg Smith, the comic writer. He reached out to me one point. He was like, I love your con poop selfies. Like, check out my comic. Like, okay. And then we became good friends. But,
and then you're like, can I take a picture of me reading your comic with a poop selfie?
I should bring the poop selfie back. But so I took a picture, sitting on a toilet, and it was very clear that I was on the toilet. And I had a good pose, a big thumbs up. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna post this and use the hashtag. And I used the hashtag, and we're sitting there in a big hall full of hundreds of people. And I'm there with a friend, and she's like, hey, look, you're on the thing. And then she's like, oh my God, that's one of your poop selfies. And I was big screen in front of hundreds of people, big grin and thumbs up, like here I am pooping.
People look your way, just give them the thumbs up. Like,
no, I don't
think
people really notice it's me. I don't know how many people notice it, but I've been looking actually. I tried to get a picture of it on the big screen, and I feel like I got one, but I haven't been able to find it. So it happened, and that was my moment on the big screen.
Well, I know you wouldn't make that shit up, pun intended.
No. It was at first, my first instinct was like, oh my God, it's embarrassing. But then the more I thought about it, the more I thought it was like it was awesome. It was like the coolest thing ever. That has nothing to do with Halloween, but
it's a great story. That's one to tell.
It's a good story.
Want to tell the kids down the road.
Yeah, it's a good one. Kind of proud of it now. But yeah, so what do you guys think? Let us know what you thought of the episode and the guests and all that stuff. Like, we had a blast. I hope you guys enjoyed it half as much as we did. That means it was a success. So thank you, Jade the Libra in Dallas. Thank you, Lord Blood-Rah. Thank you to the Destroyers for the awesome music.
Butch Patrick.
Thanks, Butch. Like I said, the Destroyers, we're going to close this episode out with another song from the Destroyers called The Crypt Shaker. So once we say our goodbyes, you're going to get more Destroyers. So be sure to go check them out. Find their album, 10,000 Ways to Die. Such a fun record. And remind them where to support us and all that good stuff.
You can head over to our Facebook group, the Steve and Crypto Show podcast. Just look that up. Become a member and post some things you got that you're working on. We just want to see it. Go there. Follow us at the Steve Stroud at CryptoZoo88. Also check out our merch. Etsy/shop/Steve and Crypto merch. And be sure you go to our Buy Me a Coffee, which is buymeacoffee.com/Steve Crypto. They cover everything.
I think that covers it all. Leave us a review and rating wherever you listen. And make sure you guys have a safe and happy Halloween. Have some fun. Post pictures. Hashtag with the Steve and Crypto Show. We want to see your costumes. We want to see what kind of shindigs you're having. We want to see what kind of shenanigans.
Anything Halloween related, man. We want to see it.
Yeah, so use hashtag Steve and Crypto Show. Is it Steve and Crypto or Steve and Crypto Show?
Steve and Crypto Show.
Okay. See, I don't even know. But like, I usually just use the phone autofill and it does it. Yes. I'm letting out my little
That's how
trade
you do
secrets.
it so fast.
I'm letting out my trade secrets here, guys. So everybody, happy Halloween. Thank you for listening.
Happy Halloween, guys.
We'll be back in 2 weeks. We're taking a little break so we can enjoy Halloween a little bit and let you guys enjoy this episode because it's going to be long as hell.
Let this episode marinate until 98.
Well, is this 97?
This is 97. That's why I said let this marinate until 98.
Hey, we said no rhymes.
You said no rhymes. And in fact, you said no rhymes, but you were the first one to rhyme in this episode. So there you go.
All right. I guess you can have that one since I accidentally rhymed.
Yeah, if that's what you want to call it.
It's been a fun, almost 100 episodes. Been a fun over 2 years. These Halloween episodes mean the fucking world to me. And I know you too, because we love Halloween and we're just dorks and we like to just be goofy and have fun. And I feel like we got the same thing from all our guests too.
Yeah, I think so. And as Steve said, we just want to see what you guys are doing for Halloween. So share your pictures, tag your friends, spread this episode around, listen to it while you're out trick-or-treating, while you're getting ready for your parties to begin. Yeah.
Just have fun. Have a happy Halloween. Be nice to each other. Watch some cool stuff. Be entertained. Don't be a dick. And again, happy Halloween. We've been the Steve and Crypto Show.